Hey, welcome back, everybody. So, because we know that there are challenges when it comes to running for office, and we know that establishment, we'll say politicians, once you sell out, you get perks. And one of them is notoriety and name recognition and all this stuff. Meanwhile, Mike and I have been sitting here talking to all these grassroots candidates, and when they tell me something like, for example, we just got done talking to Chris Fields. He was running for Senate in New Jersey. He was talking about how he missed his signature toll tally, whatever that is. So I wanted to reach out to the Connecticut connection because they're coming up pretty soon. And so you guys, I want to introduce you to the candidate running for Connecticut 2. Kyle, I'm going to let you say your last name. What is
Did
it?
you get it? Gauk.
Gauk. That's right.
Gauk.
Kyle Gauk, welcome.
Thanks, man.
Running for Connecticut 3. We're talking to Andrew Rice.
Hello there.
Welcome.
You can't mess up that last name.
No, especially
People have
not.
messed it up. believe it or
Especially
not.
not. Hey, I'm from the tropics. That's all we eat.
Yeah. People see it and it's like it's too simple. It must be. I've gotten Reese, I've gotten Reese, I've gotten Richie. I'm like, it's just rice. It's plain rice.
Oh, white rice.
Rice.
Plain
All
white
right, we'll
rice.
change it to Andrew Rice. There, he feels special.
It's like Joe Dierte.
And that guy, he's back, you guys. Joseph Perez-Caputo, running for Connecticut 4. Welcome back, Joe.
Hello, mi gente.
Step to the front of the class. You know him. You love him. C4 Explosives.
That's
What's up,
me.
son?
Feeling good, feeling good. It's an honor to be here where I'm at, but I feel like I'm in Connecticut.
You
Not
don't
me.
wanna be-
I'm in California, and I'm fine with it.
It's cold.
It's fucking cold.
That's what I'm saying.
I was at the beach yesterday, so yeah.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we had our No Kings Day here in Sonoma yesterday, and it was a beautiful day out. I couldn't help but protest because it was gorgeous out.
It was 35 degrees in Connecticut. On
It was
Friday it was
so
50.
bad
Today it was
yesterday.
50. And yesterday they're just like, you know what? You're not gonna have a nice day for this.
Yeah.
There's some people like, if we were conspiracy theorists, we could just say that MAGA was trying to control the weather to depress turnout.
Yeah.
And everywhere
those
where we were
rolling
congregating
brownouts
was a wind
treating you?
tunnel.
It was a wind tunnel. You guys ever been so cold that when you start to thaw out, it burns?
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
We're from Chicago.
Like, so driving
Yeah.
from protest to protest, we went to multiple. Every time I'd get in the car, about 10 minutes in, my nose and my ears would start to burn really bad.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have
was
you
miserable
ever
yesterday.
lived in an environment so cold that people walking from bus stop to bus stop, you could see their snot in their nose starts to create an icicle?
Yes.
I've not, no. I don't think I
Man,
want to live
that's
there.
Chicago
People
life right
shouldn't
there.
live there.
It's like glass in your nostrils. It's terrible.
People should not live there. That is not appropriate.
Take one of those good, minus 30 winter days in Chicago where you can feel the back of your eyeballs because the air just goes in there and starts messing with you.
Don't
That's
miss
fine.
That sounds awful.
That's
I
why I live
never
in
wanna experience
California.
that.
Yeah, no thanks. There's
Yeah.
nothing in my bloodline that can handle that element.
That's what I'm
God.
saying.
All of human history working against me with that.
That's crazy.
I mean, this whole winter though has been no, it's probably normally cold. We've just become so conditioned from it being warmer because of, the climate change and everything. And it's great probably for the environment and the ecosystem that we had an actual winter with snow and all of that. But it's been very frustrating trying to campaign when it's 20 degrees, windy, no one's outside, no one wants to canvass. I don't really want to canvass because it's too cold. And
Yeah, how about
so,
it?
of course, the one year where all these progressives are trying to run, it's been freezing, and a lot of us in the Northeast have been trying to wait out the winter so that we can finally get the boots on the ground. I don't
Yeah,
say
but
boots on the ground.
You
That's
know,
too.
you know what I was saying would have been absolutely ideal if No Kings had planned their protests on within the signature window that we have,
That would've
because
been
then you
nice.
would have had
Yeah.
thousands of available signatures to us just out in the
Yeah.
public. You know, that would have been ideal.
Even even having no King's Day on a day where it wasn't windy. I mean, poor Kyle saw me in Hartford. I spent half the time chasing down my own banner. You know, like
No.
by the time I got there, people didn't really know who I was. In Wilton, this really cute kid dressed as Batman ran after my banner and brought it back to me. So shout out to Batman wherever he is. You know, it was great to connect with people and laugh, but it wasn't great to get signatures at. You know, and meanwhile, like a lot of establishment Dems are kind of either co-opting or fully entrenched in the movement. They speak. They're getting their visibility. They're getting their reelection. And whether people are really excited about that or whether people are like, I don't like him, but he's what we got. Well, no, you have Andrew over here. You have Kyle over here. You have people in New Jersey,
Joe right
people in
there.
LA. You have me. Yeah, you
I was
have
like,
me.
no, yeah, we have you.
Yeah.
One of you two might run too. You might have 5 people right here in this room. So it,
My mouth
I
is
think
way
no-
too full of way too much potty mouth for.
I don't know. The standard's been set pretty low. I think
I know we got to bring it back though.
If Marjorie
yeah,
Taylor
having
Greene
no-
can talk about Jewish space lasers, I'm sure dropping the F-bomb is fine.
that,
You know what I mean?
what he said.
Like, there's a line, and fuck is way before Jewish space lasers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have Knucklehead. Who's that dude with no definition in his body? Mike. I always bring him up and I always forget his name. The
Hexeth?
little one with the
Hexeth?
little
Oh,
hands.
Stephen Miller.
Yeah, him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
Um,
Mike, what are you talking about?
No,
It's like
No,
no,
Gumby.
Stephen
It's
Miller,
hard to
that
keep
one.
track of which fascist you're talking
He was like
about. these
Gumby.
days.
Collect them all.
Yeah.
No, when he said that people that look like me poison the blood of the country and like we don't build anything, we don't. I was like, bitch,
He
who
said
cuts
it
your
with his whole
grass?
chest. With his
Yeah.
whole chest.
You brought Puerto Ricans into this country, made us citizens so that we could fight your wars. You brought Italians in to be your laborers. And then you look at me when I roll through the South like I'm a race trader because I'm mixed. Like,
Yep.
F that dude. He doesn't know a thing.
Yeah,
You know,
not
these
even that. Like,
insecure
let's
small
go
men.
ahead. Let's go ahead and give these other two guys a little shout out. They be wearing these white boys out too.
Yeah.
They gas them up and then they put little red hats on them and send them out here to talk all that mess.
Yeah.
They wind them
They
up.
don't care.
Send them
They
out.
don't care.
Well, that's what both political parties are really good at, right? Savaging their young. Taking that youthful energy, taking what youthful wisdom you have, and then just firing it in a direction that serves the machine. And
Not
then,
even
you
youth,
know,
not even youthful wisdom. The naivete and the creativity that comes from being young. They
That's what I
they
mean by
push
the
you to be
beginner's
a
mind.
machine part, and they just keep pushing.
yeah.
I mean, to me, I feel like that's mostly like I'm a big proponent of education, but I feel like a
Oh,
lot of
tell me
education in this country, especially primary, isn't education. It's indoctrination to get
Yeah.
us ready for the 9-to-5 grind.
Yeah.
And so at an early age, our creativity is already stifled in
Yep.
favor of the, I mean, it was like Rockefeller that made this, pipeline of he wants, workers that are smart enough to work the machines, but dumb enough not to question why they're doing it.
Yeah.
And so so the parties just monopolize or capitalize on that already, the indoctrination to get us ready for that grind. And so we need to have, more creativity and programs and education that actually fosters children's creativity and like how to actually communicate with another human being. Because I think emotional intelligence is something that's very lacking in this society. And look at where it's gotten us. We have a pedophile, a
For
PDF
real.
running the White House.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
can we can and not say? What can we say and can we not say on here?
Yeah,
You can
should
say
we-
whatever you want.
On here?
Donald Trump's a fucking
Whatever you-
pedophile.
Boom.
There.
Guaranteed.
There.
Guaranteed.
What
I
am
would
I
bet his
supposed
entire
to say?
fucking paycheck
What am
on
I
it.
supposed to say? Defend the pedo?
Mhm.
No, that's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. What are
No,
you gonna
the
say?
president's a
There's a
pedophile.
brown guy talking politics, and we might get demonetized. What? Come on.
Hey,
You
listen,
can
they already
say
demonetized
whatever
the
you
white guy a
like.
bunch of times. You don't stand a chance.
yeah.
And one time I was on Instagram Live and I said genocide and pedophilia, and I was kicked off. And I'm like, well, I guess someone's watching me and doesn't like to admit that those two words are, what describes them best.
Yeah, that's how you know you're doing it right.
Stephen Miller's ears are ringing.
Yeah, he's a bum. Anyway, so yeah, we were talking about school and creativity and indoctrination and all that stuff. And a common person that we all know and love is Jen Johansson. And she's doing incredible work trying to, number one, putting us together and building this network of people who are tired of the bullshit. Shout out Jen for that.
Yep.
Hell yeah. She has
She's
created
awesome.
such a wonderful community of all these progressives. And she is just an amazing woman. And she's actually visiting us in Connecticut next week. So
Is she?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, she's
karaoke
coming-
thing we're inviting you
I was
to.
gonna say karaoke's got to be involved, man. I see
There you
videos.
go. Kyle keeps saying he won't do it, but we've already cast him as Rocky. We'll make him do something.
Nope.
Kyle, you were going to
Give you a
sing by the end of the
monologue.
night, I guarantee it.
Give him some
I'll give you a
allure.
monologue. That's the best you get.
We'll take it. And we'll take that thank you.
Oshkosh.
He just starts reciting the
And
Federalist
7
Papers.
beers ago.
Yeah.
Because that's how many it's going to take to get me up on the stage.
I could totally see that entire group going up to sign up for a karaoke song. What song are you looking for? Do you know the one in the Epstein files?
Is there a song in the Epstein files? I didn't read all of them.
I
I'm
didn't
sure there
either.
is.
I was
I'm sure there is.
Mr. Fact Check over here.
Let me get on my Google machine.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no
Jen
idea.
is great.
I wouldn't even want to ruin anyone's song if it was in there. So yeah, going back to the beginnings of you guys running for office and collecting signatures. You guys are literally in the streets, like at grocery stores, saying, "Hey, I'm running for office. Can you please sign this paper?" Is that how it works, or or is there like a legal thing that people have to go through?
So the ballot petition process in Connecticut doesn't actually open until April 28th. And then we only have a 42-day window until June 9th to collect the signatures.
Mhm.
And we don't even know what the ballot petition looks like because they don't release that information until April 28th.
Oh,
So we don't even know the full scope of what we have to do until the day of.
Yeah. Connecticut has the strictest ballot access laws in the country.
is this something that's new, or is it? This
No.
is
Nope.
So fun fact, in case you guys haven't heard this before from Joe, but there has never once in the history since the Mayflower landed at Plymouth Rock been a primary in this state. Never.
no
Mhm.
shit.
Never
Yeah, he
once.
did tell us that.
Never.
There was one candidate who got close. He raised like $400,000 or $500,000 back in 2022. Took them to court and said, "Listen, this closed access primary, this can't be constitutional. It's got to restrict free speech because no one
By
in history has
closed
done it."
access, what does that mean?
It means that not only must you be a registered voter to vote in the primary, you can
Okay.
only be Democrat. Only Democrats can collect the signatures. So even like I have family members who are Republican and they don't like the Democrats, but they love me and they want to help. They can't.
Oh,
Yeah,
Every signature they
independent
take
can't
will be
collect
thrown out.
signature for you.
Every signature
And yes, and the 42-day window, and how short that is, and every single signature must be inked with a ton of information. So like,
Mhm.
there's no like, oh, go to my website and sign our petition. No, you have to
Yeah.
physically go up to somebody with an ink pen,
Yeah.
and they have to sign that petition. And then like it requests
How
like
many
their date of
signatures
birth,
do you guys
their
need to get?
address. So
We need
it's different for each one of
2%.
us, but it's 2% of the population of Democrats. So like for me, it's like 3,400 signatures, something like that.
Okay.
For me, it's like 3,200 based off of what the Secretary of State said. But
Yeah.
up until 2003, though, I think it was only Democrats could only get onto the primary ballot through convention, and then the
Yeah.
Supreme Court ruled that there had to be a ballot petition process, and then Connecticut gave the bare minimum of what they could get away with to kind of keep people off. And like another thing is like, depending on the registrar, if you have a page of signatures and one of those signatures is like a
Oh, here we
non-registered
go.
Democrat, some registrars will throw out the entire page of like 20 signatures
Yeah.
for
Sweet
one
Christ.
bad signature.
So
And
you
it's
get
up
checked.
to their interpretation whether or not
Yes.
they
Yep.
throw out the whole page.
They get discretion.
Yep.
They get professional discretion. I need about like 4,200 mathematically, and I've checked 5 times with 5 different statisticians. But I need to prepare to collect double that because if they even think it's close, because they hegemonic power protects hegemonic power. You can't rule that out. But you know what? I'm a little lazy. I don't want to read that. Like, I can't trust anybody. So I'm going to try and get 8, 9, 10,000 if I can. Because that's what you need to be able to show them, listen, this is what the people want. But we do have 3 million people in Connecticut.
Think about getting 10,000 signatures in 42 days. That's what, 400 signatures a day?
So what's some of the
And we can even broaden that. Imagine getting 10,000 signatures for anything at all.
Yeah.
Any given time
without being able
frame.
to do it online, without being able to have an online forum to do it.
Yeah.
Has to be in person with an ink pen.
So I've been building events and trying to get businesses who will help do it throughout the workday and try and build canvassers. And even with all of that, if everyone says yes, just like they did with Zoran down the way, and everyone puts their full tilt in, and everyone overcomes their helplessness with hope and puts their effort in, we might build a movement. We might shake the needle. We still might not get the signatures, and that's just statistics. That's not even anything degrading the movement. That's just statistics.
Compare that to someone who is an establishment representative. What's their path like?
Jack shit.
Look at Joe.
So
They have to show up.
They get to just walk in.
On May 11th, each of the 5 districts in Connecticut will hold a convention where the Democratic town committees will send delegates, and the delegates can vote who to put on the ballot, and the delegates are instructed to vote for the incumbent. So yes, they don't even have to show up. They just have to exist, and it's 99% of the time, these conventions have just been a formality, and there's never actually been a person to challenge the delegates, because most people are kind of forced to drop out because the process is so behind closed doors. There's no transparency. I went to my own Democratic town committee trying to be a delegate to my own convention, and the delegates for convention were chosen beforehand, behind closed doors, from backdoor meetings. And then when I got at the meeting where we were supposed to select the delegates, they were just like, we have these, 28 delegates. Yes. Who can we have a, motion to vote? Someone motion, someone seconds, everyone in favor. And then they close it off without anyone having any discussion. And just like, this is democracy. Who would have thunk that Democrats, they'll complain about Trump and the Republicans going around and be like, oh, that signature doesn't have a dot over its I or a T crossing or a, cross over its T. That's a bad signature. And Democrats will go like, oh my God, look, they're trying to rig these elections. And then they do the same thing just to their own voters.
And that's where the constituents need to do their homework, right? Because just because they have a D next to their name doesn't mean that they're playing on the same team.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of it.
For me personally, up until like 2008, 2019, I drank the blue Kool-Aid. Like Obama could give me that Kool-Aid, I'd be like, yum, 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 this is delicious. And then one day I realized it was a bunch of sugary bullshit, just like the red Kool-Aid. But this is, again, like an issue, I think, with our education system, where we're not actually taught how to be, civically engaged, informed voters. Because if we were that, then the status quo and the power structure would never be challenged.
Well,
and as George Carlin said, it's a big club and you ain't in it.
People are just busy. And I think the system is built that way intentionally to make them busy. Because
100%.
So we're facing off against Joe Courtney, right? And so when we meet somebody that we call as pro Joe, they'll just be like, no, I'm sticking with Joe. Thank you. I'm a staunch Democrat. I'm sticking with Joe. And then I'll tell them, okay, did you know he voted for the resolution to praise ICE? Did you know he voted for the Day of Remembrance of Charlie Kirk? Do you know he voted to table the impeachment articles against Donald Trump? He wouldn't sign the impeachment articles against Kristi Noem, even after Renee Good and Alex Preddy were killed. He's not doing shit as a Democrat. Like literally nothing to defend this fucking country. And he's signaling to the administration that they can keep doing what they're doing because as a Democrat in power, he's just going to sign along, right?
Yeah.
And their jaw drops. And I'd say about 50% of them will be like, wow, I didn't know that. Actually, that's pretty embarrassing. And that pisses me off. Let me see your card. I'll check you out. And then the other 50%, they're still like, well, I'm just a fan of Joe. And they'll turn around and walk away.
Yeah,
like,
I've had the same experience. I've had to educate people on what Himes is doing. And he made almost, I think, like every decision you just said.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But people if people get excited and they take the card and they listen, great. But sometimes people think about hegemonic power. Who am I going to anger if I am seen supporting another candidate.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do work a lot. I've had a couple people so excited to talk to me. Yes, I'm in law school. Yeah, I'm excited to get engaged. And then I tell them I'm running for Congress and against who, and I see them go and do one of these.
Yeah. The boogeyman.
Okay. Yeah, like fear gets in their eyes, like they're gonna lose their job just for talking with me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's entrenched politics is huge.
Yesterday, I had the same experience. Someone's like, "Oh, I would love to sign your." So we got an idea from someone who was also running in the race for CT3, who has since dropped out. His name's Damien DeNoble, and he had the idea of collecting like unofficial signatures or a petition pledge to try and identify voters before the petition period, so that we could target where to send canvassers to get signatures when the official period opens. A person yesterday wouldn't even sign an unofficial pledge because he was too worried that if Rosa found out that he could lose his job.
Yep.
Like, he literally said that to me. And I'm like,
And this
and
is
so part of the issue is that a lot of these incumbents are vindictive individuals who will actually go after you if you do not support them and just blindly follow them. And so, unfortunately, we do have a system where people have to, be worried about their job first, because if they don't have a job, they don't have health care, they don't
Right.
have any sort of safety net. People who have jobs can have a job one day, lose a job, have a health care incident, be bankrupt, and go homeless in less than a month, because
Yeah.
the system is not designed to really ensure that people have any sort of economic stability. And as Kyle was mentioning, I think this is this isn't a design flaw. This is exactly how it's supposed to work. Because I
Mhm.
even think
It's a
like the
feature.
40-hour work week, it's a feature of the system meant to keep us down and in control. And I believe that, who was it, Ford was the one to originally push for
It's 40 hours.
the 40-hour work week. And it's
Yeah.
not because it is what is most productive. It is what is the system that keeps people under the most control, because it deprives them of enough time and energy where they don't go home. Or they go home, they can't be creative.
Hold
they
on now.
can't
Hold on now.
organize.
Hold on now.
They can't.
I'm going to be Mr. Fact Check because I'm a huge fan of Ford. Okay. That Ford actually implemented
Gerald
the
Ford
40-hour
or
work week to save people. So before the 40-hour work week, there was no regulation on how you worked your
Yeah.
people. And people were getting worked 60, 80, 90 hours a week or fired.
Yeah, there
if
was
they
a
didn't.
labor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ford actually saved people by implementing a 40-hour work week, gave people back time with their families, gave people back time at home, gave them benefits, gave them stability. Like that was, and not that saying 40 hours is right. Like maybe we should go down to 32 and have a 4-day work week, right? But
Yeah, that's
my
what it was
point
pitched,
is that
I believe.
Ford is not the bad guy in that story that you've been told he is. He's actually the good guy. Sorry, I'm just a big Ford fan.
Well,
and
Hate Chevy, by the way. They
and
can
let
go
me
fuck
break
off.
let me wake everyone up to the nightmare that is corporate America. At least my career, I was putting in 80, 90, 100-hour
yeah.
work weeks.
Oof.
I was under a contract, or I wasn't by the hour. And so if I put in 40 hours or if I put in 100 hours, my check was the same.
Same.
So it's still happening. And let me tell you, it's still happening to the point where over here in Silicon Valley, when what they do is they don't hire Americans anymore. They hire contractors from other countries. And if you don't put in that work, or if you complain, you lose your job. And if you lose your job, you get sent back home.
Lose your visa.
So when people say, "Oh, America needs to be run like a corporation," no, bitch, no,
Even
because
at will
this is how it
employed.
works. Your boss, you have to do. Thank God that not everybody is like Harvey Weinstein and all those guys, where you have to do all kinds of weird things just to get a paycheck. But
we've learned a lot of them are.
It's not far from that.
It's relative. You know what I mean? Like people say, yeah, no, Harvey Weinstein's bad, but that doesn't make corporate America good. You know what I mean? It's all relative.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
Sorry, Andrew. I didn't mean to shit on
And
your
the system again, the system might be fine. It might have good bones, but the people who are running it are definitely influencing it in a negative way.
Oh yeah.
Again, that's why we need to.
There's
Mike and
plenty
I
of-
have been begging you guys to come and tell us all these stories, because something as simple as collecting enough signatures and they're tricking you out of signatures is keeping you from making proper change to the system that these crooks are running.
So I'm gonna touch on that real quick, but before I do, a quick corporate story. So I worked for, I just quit actually to run this campaign full time, but I worked for the largest
Attaboy.
defense company in the world. No, defense. I worked for the largest defense company in the world, and on the corporate side, and I spent the last decade climbing the corporate ladder, like, head down, 80 to 100-hour weeks. I ranked up every single year, if not twice a year. I mean, I was grinding. I had no life, didn't see my family. But I was doing good as far as the corporate world goes, but I was fucking burnt. And during
Yeah.
COVID, and they didn't care. Like when I got
Yeah.
to level 5 burnout, they didn't give a shit. Like they would just toss me out with the trash if that's what had to happen. And when COVID hit, we ended up cutting our salaries by 10% across the board, everybody. But to make up for it, they gave us every Friday off for 6 months of the year.
Nice.
So yeah, and so I was like, okay, 10%, but I have 4-day work weeks. This sounds pretty good. Let's give it a try. It was phenomenal. And study after study after study. I mean, we're a multi-trillion-dollar corporation. Study after study after study that they did internally, which I was senior management, so I was privy to, showed that we were as productive, if not more productive, in certain areas. What are they back to now? 5-6 hour day or 5-6 day work weeks. And why? Why? It's to keep you pressed down under the thumb. That's why.
Yep.
Right? Because just like you, my paycheck didn't change if I worked 100 hours this week or if I worked 20 hours this week. It only changed if I kept my head down, grinded longer, worked harder than everyone else, lost my life, lost my family, and ranked up again. That's the only way I could get more money, was to just play the game. But so going back to Andrew's point earlier about how the system is built to just kick you on your ass and like they play the system. So I won't say who, but we are doing a massive press release here in the next week or two. Hopefully we'll get nationwide coverage for this. But so my campaign specifically is working on delegates. So we said, fuck the signature process. They've made it impossible intentionally. So we're going to get the delegates. Since last May, we've been going to the Democrat town committees all across the district, making friends and relationships everywhere we can, gathering delegates. And statistically based on the numbers, we're on the ballot, right? For the first time in history, somebody will be on the ballot, which is fucking dope, right?
Yeah.
Last Thursday morning, I wake up to a phone call.
The fact that you said dope is even doper than that.
It's dope. I'm a millennial, man. So last Thursday, I woke up to a phone call from a chair at one of the DTCs, and I won't say who, but he goes, I just got off the phone with someone very senior in Connecticut government, and they are calling around telling people to pull their support from you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And this is somebody that has control over towns, right? Which is the shittiest thing, because now they're like, oh, do I support this progressive candidate that's up and coming, right? And risk losing projects and funding for my town? Or do I continue to support him because that's what I want to do, right? So that is fucking corruption at its finest, like literally to the definition of it. But it's not illegal here, but that's what it is. It's fucking corruption.
And that's the other thing. There's a reason that almost every voter in Connecticut, and every single one of us will talk about our own reasons. There are good reasons why every single voter in Connecticut is angry at the Democrats.
Yeah.
Connecticut 4 has 40% independents. There's just no faith in the party. It's brackish water. It's cloak and dagger. They betray you if they can't funnel you. They kind of want you to do a corporate grind. They want you to come in, serve their DTCs, serve their established candidate, fawn,
Pay your dues.
Pay your dues, start local, make a few friends. They don't give a fuck. And meanwhile, Gaza burns, Iran gets evaded, this president takes over. Threats that you could see a million miles away because they're more interested in their own power and their own politicking. A guy like Kyle, a guy like Andrew, myself, cool. Right? Like, we're all good people who actually want to fight, and you can't get a Democrat to fight. So, I mean, honestly, Kyle, congrats on even getting the amount of delegates, because I won't speak for anyone else, but I took one look at that. We're like, nope. My campaign went the opposite direction. We're like, fuck all them. They're just going to vote for their friends.
They're going to the people. Yeah, for real.
I did the exact opposite. I was like, there's just no way. There's no fucking way. It's not humanly possible to collect that many signatures in that amount of time and to risk them throwing away half of them, which they've done in the past.
So how do you become I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you become a delegate and like, do they walk around with like a little badge and a little
I'm a
puffier
delegate.
than everybody else?
So I'm going to grab a water. I'm going to let Andrew answer that because he actually has the inside track.
Okay.
Yeah.
So every town has something called a Democratic Town Committee, and those are actually the lowest level of elected officials. But in order to get onto the Democratic Town Committee, you just have to know a guy who knows a guy that knows when they are going to meet every 2 years, sometime in January, where they have a caucus to decide who will be on the Democratic Town Committees. These people are elected in and they're elected as a slate. So in Milford, we have 5 districts. The first district has 34 committee members. And so 34 people had to put in their name to be put on that slate, and then we're voted in as a slate. If there's any challenges to that slate, then it goes to a primary sometime in early March. And then in March, the DTCs are sat. Then those DTCs elect an e-board, an executive board of the chair, co-chair, treasurer, and like a secretary. The chair typically has wide discretion on who they choose as delegates. And delegates, they don't even have to be committee members. They just have to be registered Democrats in the district that they're being sent to convention. So this past week, the Milford Democratic Town Committee held a delegate selection meeting, but it wasn't actually a selection process. Everything was already selected for us before we even got to that meeting. And so these DTCs decide who they will send as delegates to the convention. And most of the time, the chair people who have been, I think, we have 25 Democratic town committees in the 3rd district, and all of the chairs have been the same chair people for the past like 6, 8 years. And so they usually know who is a party insider, who is most likely to commit and be loyal to the incumbent. They will choose those people to go to the convention. So our campaign has actually tried to do a 2-pronged approach. We're trying to create the infrastructure to collect those ballots, the petition signatures. And one of the reasons why it's very difficult for Kyle is that the 2nd district is so rural, and so it'll be much more challenging to collect those signatures, whereas my district is more urban and suburban, so I have a lot more population centers that I can target more easily. But I'm also going to the DTCs, but one of the potential problems is if you do make a friend with a DTC person who may be a delegate and the chair catches wind of that and the chair is loyal to the incumbent, they won't select that person as a delegate because they know that their loyalty isn't to the incumbent. And so it is a very backdoor, non-transparent process. And that is why we're going both routes, because at the end of the day, it's hard to trust that the Democrats won't find a way to convince their delegates using party officials to put a pressure campaign on them, or that you have lawyers challenge every single signature to try and keep you off the ballot. And it's just very unfortunate that the Democratic Party isn't doing more to actually fight for democracy, because at the end of the day, if all these people are so convinced that these incumbents are the champions of the people and that these are the people that Democrats want to have represent them in Washington, then allow us onto the ballot and, let these incumbents wipe the floor with us because they're so confident in their incumbents. Just like, no, the fact that you do this much to push people out of the process shows that you are not confident that these are the people that want to be representing the party come November. But again, the process is people are not informed about the process. And so the primary will come up and people are like, why weren't you on the ballot? Because the process doesn't start on primary day. It starts on April 28th.
Yeah.
And until I ran for office, I didn't even know that this was a thing. So people who I've been interested in politics most of my life did not know that this was a whole process, and how fucked up it is.
Yeah.
For real.
So like on the outside looking in, like the Democrats that want a solid candidate, but when they see what gets put in front of them, they're like the do nothing Dems, like literally, because you guys are getting a bad rap before you even get there, and because of the system that they built in place. It's like a little mob bosses are deciding that all these things are going on, and like, no, you can't be a part of our party.
It's a good way of putting it. It's like small clusters. It's like a bunch of underbosses making a call. to their soldiers, to their 4 or 5 soldiers. It's exactly like that. And look, I talk to people all the time. My district, I mean, Andrew's got a big city in New Haven. He could probably get all of his signatures just in New Haven if he played his cards right. I've got Bridgeport and Norwalk and Stamford. So, like, the signatures make sense for us in a way as an approach that I can understand for Kyle is like, absolutely not, right? But even when I talk to people, I've met a lot of people like, yo, dude, yeah, you're cool. I'm never voting Democrat again. No. Done. End of conversation. And they might even be progressive folks, right?
Yeah.
They just don't want nothing to do with the
Yeah.
Democrats. So it's a voter faith and voter disenfranchisement. A lot of people are really angry, not just at MAGA, but at all corporatists, whatever color they put their flag. And when you add these cloak and dagger tactics, it doesn't really help, right? You guys
Yeah.
know you can't be a world champion if you don't fight.
Right.
You want to keep your belt, you got to get in the ring every now and again. And that's,
Right.
that's not something you deal with in the Senate, which you get 6 years to do the professional job, right?
So now
and then
let
you can
me-
maybe primary. The
let
point
me-
of
let
House
me
of
re-
Reps is you get 2 years.
Let me remind everyone. Trump himself had to go through this stuff.
Yep.
But because he's a bully, because he talks that talk, and because he was on TV, he was able to skirt a lot of this stuff that you guys are going through. So all you have
He
to do
also
is start
had
a show.
the unlimited
start-
money.
Yeah.
That too.
And maybe he had some blackmail and some Epstein friends.
Some tapes.
Oh, yeah. Because
Pictures.
that's
Yeah.
ever since he jumped on and he started being goofy like that, I was like, who sent him?
Mhm.
Who sent him? Like, I know he's dirty,
Look at
but
me.
he's not dirty
Great.
by himself. Who sent him?
Just
Dude,
look who's
great.
gotten
I mean-
rich since he came in. It hasn't been the working
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
We can see
mean,
who's helping out.
Yep.
Trump is a great case study on how money buys a lot of influence because, yeah, he didn't have to really know the party insiders. And he could just throw money at things and get put his name out there. Yeah, he already had the apprentice. And so, I mean, one of the big things that grassroots candidates such as the 3 of us are facing is fundraising. We're not accepting corporate money. We're not accepting AIPAC money. But because of that, we need to rely on people who are, middle class, working class to support our campaigns.
Right.
But then when people are struggling to afford rent and struggling to afford the student loan debt and struggling to afford their health care, it's very challenging going up to people and saying like, hey, you can't afford your basic necessities of life. Can you afford to give me $5, please? On a small hope of a chance of changing anything.
Yeah.
And then also, so I'm a gay man, and I felt very patronized by Democrats because they always, every 2 years they say like, vote for us because if you don't, the Republicans will take your rights away. And like, they probably will, and that's great and all. But I'm more than just being gay. I would like to be able to afford a house one day, and I'd
Yeah.
like to be able to afford groceries, and I would like to be able to have a stable job. And so I think a lot of people have just become disenfranchised with Democrats because they focus so heavily on identity politics and that Trump is bad without having any sort of real vision on how they are going to lift the working class out of this affordability crisis. And so, I think what
That
really made the
people like
Democratic
them
Party great were
created.
like New Deal heirs and FDR, and we need to return to that.
Yeah. And it's people like them that helped create this situation, right?
Yeah.
We gave you the trust. We trusted that you're going to come and do things for us that's going to help benefit us. And I keep using this analogy. The Republicans are like dad who's driving the car and he's pissed because all of us kids are in the back making noise. The Democrats are mom trying to calm us down. She knows exactly where we're going. We don't want to go. Dad is saying, no, we're going to go. And mom is like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Meanwhile, mom knows exactly where we're going to, and she continues to co-sign
Off
to
the fucking
dad's
cliff.
ignorant, dumbass
Yeah.
ideas.
In this situation, mom's saying, if we just shut up for 4 years, I promise he's going to let me drive, and then I'll drive differently. And then she doesn't,
No,
right?
she doesn't. He fucking takes us off the cliff before she does.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or no, she said, oh, no, we have to go this way because that's what the GPS says. No, stop it.
Yeah.
The GPS based off of information from 40 years ago,
The
because
GPS that was written by corporate America.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at I'm not sure about, I'm assuming the other incumbents are not supporters of this, but right now there's a bill in Congress called the Restore Trust in Congress Act, which would prevent insider trading, I think even like owning stocks. And so Rosa DeLauro has not signed on to that bill. I don't think Joe Courtney or Jim Himes have either. And
I
just
don't
like,
think so at all.
that should be an easy win for you all.
That right there.
Just saying
Yeah.
like, oh, we will not, use our
right
insider
there.
information to make money off of it. And then when
Yeah.
you look at the congressional portfolios and just the movement of the markets, I think the average return on an investment is like 8%, but for congressional members, it's between 12 and 15%. And so it's like, of course, they don't want to actually change any of these things because they are making all of this money off of it. And when did people who are earning millions of dollars ever think like, you know what, let me not continue making even more money and do the right thing? No, they get comfortable with their power. They know that they have a honeypot or a faucet of just always pouring the cash in. And so some of these people might start off with the right ideals and the right mentality and doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the right intentions, and then at some point they just switch over, and that's
When
another
that
reason
big
why I
check
think we need
shows
term
up and
limits.
everybody's like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. I called out Jim Himes on his FISA authorization last week. So last week, Jim Himes, who's my incumbent, saw that there weren't enough Republicans. They were jumping ship from supporting the White House's desire of reauthorizing FISA without a change in a specific subsection that would allow for data protection for average American citizens. So Jim said, this is a great chance for me, and is now going around to Democrats and saying, you need to flip on this. You need to reauthorize this. I called this man out in like a 3-minute video that cited, I found things I didn't know, that Palantir, Google, Anduril, that all these companies are giving him $2,000, $3,000 checks at a clip, going as far back as September 2025, which I was already running against him, and he knew that, I'm sure. He went silent for a week. He released a pretty terrible statement, basically not talking about the data buyback broker program, which essentially says that any government entity can buy this legally without a warrant. That's the issue at hand here. So that GPS that mom and dad are driving from, government knows where they're going the whole time. The porn dad was watching, government could see it the whole time. The text you said, government, I say it because it makes people listen. But it makes people listen. It's not a joke. They will have it
I was
all.
listening already. I swear.
I know you were. You know what I mean? So you've probably heard this a few times, right? So,
I was working on
when
my
you have these
relationship.
that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't show everybody everything in the world, right? The president doesn't even want to show the Epstein files to the world, but we want to trust that same government to have all our information. So these incumbents go silent when they're actually presented with some pushback, hide behind their friends, and then they come out like nothing happened. They don't want to change how they drive the car.
No, you know what the problem is? So that allows the government, for anyone who doesn't know, right? Let's back it up out of the lawyer talk, Joe. It allows the government to buy all of our data and use it against us, which the FBI is currently doing. And they're using a provision that allows them to do that because publicly traded companies are allowed to do it. Thus, why would the government not be allowed to do it as well? But let's just back up about how nobody should be able to fucking do it in the first place, right? Let's not just say that private or publicly traded companies can buy every ounce of data that's been scraped on us, right, and use it to manipulate us in any way, shape, or form. So now the government should be able to do the same thing. No, how about we stop the fucking companies from doing it in the first place? That's what government should be doing, not taking advantage of some loophole that corporations already take advantage of, right?
Yeah.
Even now, because my daughter, I tried to open up an Instagram page for her, right? And now they want you to scan an ID.
Yep. You know where that's going.
No.
I'm like,
Real ID at the airport. You know where that's going.
oh yeah,
That's not even good enough. Real ID is not good enough to vote with, not according to the Save America Act.
Nope.
They want to like done like they do in Brazil. Everything's a one stop, a facial recognition, a retinal scan. They want everything on all your bank account. They want it all on one little shit, and then they can shut it down whenever they want to. They can steal it
Yep.
whenever they want to, manipulate it, freeze
But
it.
when it's
How
time for
fam-
you to get health care or vote, they can't find your shit. Right? Like when it comes time for you to exercise your civic rights or perform your civic duties or have any kind of respectful interaction with government, that stuff's going to get conveniently lost. But when it's time for Instagram to make money selling your data to some phishing scam, yeah, everything's all right there. Right? If Kyle's at the VA or Andrew's trying to get through the airport or I'm trying to do something with my law school, that's when it's all going to fail.
Wait, Kyle goes to the VA?
I don't know.
Kyle's a
I'm just-
veteran.
Yes, sir. Me too, kid. Thank you for your service.
Yeah,
What
man, me
branch?
too. Army.
Attaboy.
You?
All these Army. Yeah.
Yeah.
All these guys, Marines. Get out of here.
Yo, I transferred back.
Get out of
I
here.
can serve him out.
Finally,
Yeah.
I got a man on the show.
So,
Funny.
quick question back to the back to the data and the AI. How familiar are you all with Lord of the Rings?
Pretty.
Not at all.
Go on.
Extremely.
So Lord of the
like,
Rings.
I'm a
go with-
grown up.
Lay it out like I'm 5 because I'm not familiar at
Wait,
all.
no, Andrew's a rock star. Like, I don't need to take that line. He's got this.
He's got the pressure.
So in Lord of the Rings, the evil Lord Sauron uses these artifacts called Palantir, which are all evil seeing eyes that allows the evil Lord Sauron to spy on everyone within Middle Earth.
Mhm.
Now, this artifact is spelt the same exact way as Palantir, except Palantir is spelled in English with an I with a dot over it, and in Lord of the Rings, Palantir has this like little Gaelic accent that gives it that weird pronunciation at the end. So these motherfuckers are these geeky, nerdy ass motherfuckers. I'm geeky and
Yes.
nerdy ass, so I
Yes.
know all this shit. They're not even hiding
They're
what
not.
they're doing. They are literally trying to
They're
create
trying to be
an
cute.
all-seeing eye
Yes.
for their evil Lord Sauron, who is
Yes.
Peter Thiel.
Mhm.
Peter Thiel is friends with Elon Musk. Elon Musk used Doge to install
Yes.
all these backdoors to all of our government data.
And they,
and they need all
stole
these
your
AI sensors. Mhm.
social security numbers.
Which they can now sell.
Yes. They
Yeah.
can
Right.
take your number. They can associate you to some data. They're going to
Yeah.
hold all that stuff in these data centers that are getting your electric bills going up. They're using up all the fresh water because they got to cool
Yeah.
down these processors, all that stuff.
But they saved us billions.
And then they
you don't
started
have
the
to worry
Iran
about
War.
a job because there are no jobs.
Yeah. You know, we've borne witness to the greatest robbery in the history of mankind in the last 14 months. And that's a shame because I would have said that about the financial crisis in 2008 when I saw everybody get divorced and lose their houses.
Yeah.
Right?
other
And just
countries
when you think
bankrupt.
maybe
Yeah.
they could heal, here we go
Hey,
again.
mix this
So,
Yeah.
with the movie that my new friend Chris Fields told me to watch. It's called Mountainhead. Mountainhead.
What's it about?
What's that about?
It's a A24 movie, and it's
Okay, you
about
told me already.
four billionaire friends or millionaire friends, and they have like a poker night at this fancy place. And watch it. It came out last year. I just watched it this afternoon, and I was entertained, pissed off, kind of laughing at the same time, like the emotional roller coaster that I identified with them sometimes. I hated them sometimes. I hated myself for identifying with them sometimes.
This
It
just
was
kind of sounds like
wild.
everyday America.
Yeah.
Dude, but
Yeah.
listen, any A24 movies, fucking
Yeah.
spot on.
they're solid.
It's on
They made
it's on
Civil War.
HBO.
Yeah.
Like any
Everyone
A24 movie's good. So
Yeah,
it's gonna
Yeah.
be
I
good.
agree.
No,
Carlos, you'll like
A24 is
this.
what happens when you put creatives in charge.
I grabbed a
Sorry.
pen
I agree.
to. You're probably the only one here that can relate if you're the only veteran, but I grabbed a pen to write that down, and the first thing that I grabbed is like a 50 caliber bullet, and it's like a lever action for the.
Let me see mine. Oh no, mine says Sam Social Club. I do have a couple VA pens floating around here. They're pretty good too. I was like, all right, tax dollars, I see you. I got a new key and I got a new knee and a new pen.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to call you out in a second. Are you disabled?
No.
No. Okay. So one of our policies is we want to match 100% disabled veteran pay to congressional pay, and it's tied to it permanently. And then we'll tier it down from there. So if you're 10%, you get X amount, 20% X amount, 30% X amount. Because
That's cool.
our disabled veterans right now live on fucking pennies. Our 100% disabled veterans.
Yeah.
So we're gonna fix that. Tie that shit to congressional pay. Congress wants a raise, disabled veterans get a raise. It's that simple.
Love it.
All right.
Me too.
Anyway,
And the
I
other
thought
one
you
was,
would
what did
like
Jesse
that,
Ventura say? Jesse Ventura said anyone who's in Congress who votes to go to war, they need to give up one of their kids.
Yeah, they should.
One of their kids needs to go to war too.
I don't even care if your kid's 7. Send them.
There might be tasteless, but
well,
they
there was
just go
that
up against
debate
the
in
other
Congress
7-year-olds.
100 years ago, someone fielded a bill that said, going to war should be a national vote. And if you vote yes, you enlist. Period.end. Whatever your age, we'll find use for you. You'll work in chow hall, you'll do mail, everyone can work. So I would advance stuff like that.
This might be off topic slightly, but Iran just announced that they're lowering their recruitment age to 12. And
did you see how many people got nervous when we lifted ours up to 42?
42! What the fuck, dude? I'm already broken as hell. I'm 36 and I'm so broken. There's no way I could go at 42. It's crazy.
And I'm up at 54 laughing. Ha!
Carlos, breaking news. They just raised it to 57. What do you got going on tomorrow? You want to go to the recruiter with me?
At the top of this video.
My wife says, are you worried they're going to call you back? And I said, babe, I'm so fucking broken. They already broke me once. They don't even want me anymore.
You saw when
they broke me mentally. They're going to be like, do not, Carlos, get down off of that.
None of you want to die for Israel?
Well,
you're right.
When they showed Scott Bassett come back from that little talk at the Oval or with Trump, and then he came back to sit down in an interview. Yeah, I would sacrifice my kids to the draft.
Yeah,
and he's all pissing on himself.
Yeah, no.
Fuck Scott Bassett, that piece of shit. Him, Peter Thiel, and Sam Altman. They all show that at the end of the day, the only identity that truly matters is working class versus the elite, parasitic, pedophile, oligarch, billionaire class. Because all 3 of those men are gay. All 3 of those men have a shit ton of money, and they're fine. And the rest of us are fucked. And so that just goes to show that it's always been a class war.
It's always been.
Every one of these guys used private fake social media accounts. They'll be like, oh, my name's Peter Frost or whatever, Jack Frost. And they'll have a fake Facebook because they like to do the same shit we do. They're just people.
Or Grindr.
That's what I'm getting at. What we should do.
Hey, I have a Grindr, so watch yourself.
Hold on. No. I'm not knocking on Grindr. I'm just knocking
you're gay
on that.
and you're not hiding.
No,
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Right. So what we should do is we should crowdsource funding to buy their fucking data, the same way the government's buying our data, and then release all that shit.
Hell yeah.
Every bit of it. And Mike Johnson's name's going to pop up 10 billion fucking times on Grindr. Guaranteed.
Oh, that guy is gayer than...
That's another thing, Kyle.
My gaydar is on point.
That's another thing, Kyle.
Look at that
I don't
man's
support...
hair. It's better than most gay men I've met.
I don't support the use of AI. And a lot of these images that are coming out, these sexually explicit images, are of minors, that they had to start shutting that down. I'm telling you this now, and I don't mean this to be cynical, and I don't mean this to be cruel. But if someone made an explicit image of Mike Johnson, if someone made an explicit image of members of Congress, these powerful people, they would have had that shut down in 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
They couldn't even let TikTok exist because people were sharing revolutionary tactics, and Black Panther tactics, and IRA tactics, ways to survive. Right, ways to garden together, like real stuff.
See, but the thing is, you guys, what you guys don't understand. I've hung out with all these guys, the personality types.
Yeah.
So all this AI stuff, this is what you see. You don't even know all the hundreds of developers and all the dumb shit that they're working on their own computer at home. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we only get to see what they want us to see.
Yeah.
When Netflix was still going from CDs and transitioning into streaming, I was working with a guy that wrote a program that would go out onto the internet and find all the latest movies and shows, and then it would automatically download them. And they were automatically downloaded. It would create a list, and then it would go to Rotten Tomatoes and get the little stars, however many Rotten Tomatoes it got. And then when he got home, all his, his whole video for the night or for whatever was already lined up, already set up. He just had to hit play. This is back when we were sitting here fumbling around with mailing CDs back and forth.
That's wild.
That's
So
pretty
if
cool.
this is what we see now,
What are
there's
they doing?
no,
And now AI,
you know what I'm
common
saying?
schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm this lonely boy over here in the lonely hills of Sonoma in this tiny ass hot ass room, and I got almost a whole TV studio happening. And this is just me. These boys are out here. They got all kinds of power. They have all kinds of external, like they're building, testing, all kinds of software and stuff like that on Amazon web servers and all that stuff. So I'm sorry, Maxine Waters, when you are kicking it at like 80 something, baby girl, you don't have the gas in the tank no more. These boys do not sleep.
Yeah.
This AI thing, they're pushing it this hard, and money
Yeah.
folks and brain folks are going for this at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're harvesting data. So, and they're harvesting your data. So I understand how wonderful Candy Crush is. I get it. But what they're doing is they're figuring out who you are and what you are, and they're trying to guess what you're going to buy next. So they give you those things, right?
Yeah.
And then what Trump and all his little bandits are doing is they're breaking in and taking voter rolls and stuff like that so that they can associate your social security number that they just stole with your voter history, your buying history, and they already know they can make you dumber by having you watch stupid things on Facebook and TikTok and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So if they know that they're voting, if they know that Kyle, Joe, and Andrew are running for office, they know that, especially now with AI and all these images like Joe was talking about. A quick little thing about Joe doing something goofy with the goat. That's all you need.
That's it.
You need it.
To be fair,
And they
I
will
didn't
send it
do
to the
anything
people
like
who
that,
may
but
vote for Joe.
Allegedly.
that's how quick it can happen. I
Yeah.
mean, it's getting to the point where you have to triple verify things, right? You have to
Yeah.
verify, some videos are very obviously AI, but some things that are shot at a distance, right? Where there's motion blur, they're able to hide its deficiencies a little better. You have to verify the intel.
Yeah, all
Do you
you
have
need is
time
one of
when you're
those
just scrolling on your
VHS
way to work?
You
It's
get one of
kinda
those
difficult.
VHS filters and you put that shit on there, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
It looks like an
So
old movie.
yeah.
now one of the things they
Yeah.
want to do is they want to create like a watchdog program. So it's a specific AI for each individual person. And so anytime any of this data is filtered into that AI, if anything pops off that they don't like, it puts someone in a pre-registered watch list.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I'm already, you had me on, you asked me about the fence. If they automatically draft me 12 years after I've been begging for them to take me into the military, the first place they're throwing me is Leavenworth. I'm not even going to get to boot camp. They're throwing me right there. They're like, cool, you're in. USMJ, get them out of here. Yeah, or they'll throw me there.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
I don't know what you're begging for. Trust you me, there's nothing to beg for.
Yeah, no, I learned a
Yeah.
lot along the way, but 22 to 25, 18, 19, it was a long journey for me. We'll talk about that together one day. It was a long journey. But no, never served
The
a
other
day
thing
in
I
my
think
life.
that they could do with all this data, which is a little bit more cynical or scary, is I have to take certain medicines for my health. If I don't vote a certain way or I don't do something they want me to do and they have all this data,
Yeah.
they could easily just start fucking with my medicine and saying
Yeah.
like, we don't know why this is happening, blah, blah, blah. They are going to try and use every mechanism that they can to control us. And I think that they will start using, I mean, what else do they need our medical information for and our credit information for and our student loan information for? They're trying to find ways of controlling what we do with our personal information.
Well-
No, not just buying stuff, but actually controlling us through life needs that they will now have the information
Right.
on.
You see those checkpoints in Israel, right? And the Palestinians got to go through certain checkpoints, and if they go through the scan, if they're on the list, they get shot right then and
Yeah.
there. Just
And
triggered.
and to control you, just to give people something a little closer to home. A couple years ago, when these Canadian truckers were protesting because some dumb shit was happening in Canada, and they literally debanked these dudes.
Yep.
They cut you off from your money
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
because you were talking against the powers that be.
Mm-hmm.
So something else that someone said earlier about the greatest heist of money, the Democratic Party has also been a part of that, because in 2008 and 2009, when Obama was president, instead of bailing out the American people, that was like one of the biggest transfers of wealth back to the banks, because the American taxpayer bailed out all the banks and we all lost our houses and money. Then in 2020, when they put in all of these policies to protect us from COVID, only the small businesses were the ones that were predominantly affected, and the large businesses were able to just either pay the fines or buy out the politicians, and that was another huge transfer of wealth upwards. So both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party have been responsible for several transfers of wealth from the working
Every
class
time.
to the parasitic elite class. And when you look at all their corporate donors, they're all the corporations give money to both sides. And there's actually this great anime called Avatar: The Last Airbender, and its sequel, not The
Legend
Adventures
of
of
Korra.
Korra, Legends of Korra. And I remember there was this philanthropist who's like, I gave the mayor some money so I can get a meeting with him. And then he turns to another guy and he's like, I gave his opponent the same amount of money just in case they won. And she's like, that's what they do. They buy out both parties, and then whoever gets into office, they do most of their bidding anyway.
Right. We've heard
So it
that
doesn't surprise
story
me that Jim
so
Hines
many
is up to
times
this
talking
AI.
to you guys.
Yeah.
This just happened again, right? With COVID. I'm not with COVID, with the tariffs.
Mhm.
That was a manufactured transfer of wealth. What happened now? The Supreme Court said tariffs are illegal, and the corporations are suing the federal government for trillions of dollars back in money. Money, mind you, that they charged every one of us for the tariffs that we're not getting back. But the corporations are still going to get that money back from the federal government. Our money.
And that's also
No, but they're going to
with
bring the prices
tariffs
down,
being-
no?
Oh, yeah.
They're going
I'll
to
hold
use
my
that
breath.
money to bring the prices
Let me know
down.
when it happens.
Well, and that's the other thing. Even with the tariffs, even with a lot of these sweeping executive orders, Truth Social or certain friends would get the information first. They'd make all their filings, right? Like everyone would get the text or whatever at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And then at noon or what have you. The amount of senators who bought into Halliburton or Raytheon as needed hours before a missile strike, knowing that that missile needs to be replaced, needs to be rebought. Right? And this happens again and again and again. Not only with macroeconomics of the entire nation, what they're doing to the farmers out in the Midwest, what they're doing to workers here in Connecticut and our districts, but with everyday stuff, with everyday decisions on the Hill. Connecticut is one of the most economically segregated places I've ever seen in the history books. And I think
it is.
between... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
In the country,
And-
I think we're the most economically
Oh, in the
segregated.
country, yeah. I think the only one who has a candle on us is maybe Silicon Valley, but that's just because their property
pretty
values
bad
have
out
gone
here.
up so much.
It's pretty bad.
But we
out
are,
here.
and insofar as extreme poverty, living side by side with extreme wealth that is pretty much directly their retirements are invested in their own subjugation.
What a lot of people
Right?
don't understand is, especially in Joe's district, it's like the
bad.
wealthiest town in the entire country is here. And
Yeah.
like the top, like 7 out of the top 10 wealthiest towns in the country are here in Connecticut. And that includes Silicon Valley. And that's because what people don't understand is where down there, at least in his district, he's 25 minutes by train to Wall Street. And so everybody who is major hedge fund managers, right, making hundreds of millions a year. I don't even know how much money these
Or
people
more.
make.
They want a little
Insane.
elbow room. They come
Insane.
up here. They conquest us.
I mean, the houses are are $300 million. Now, who the fuck can get a mortgage for $300 million?
300. Could you imagine going to the VA and being like, I really want a house?
Yo, I need this mortgage.
And they're like, I'm going to need the best rate on this $300 million mortgage.
Into the front walkway. I'm exaggerating, but you get my point. Like it's stupid, old, like solidified, entrenched money here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Like
generational money versus laborers who can't. They're working. They can't keep up with that.
And then you've got my district, which is one of the poorest in the country.
Yeah.
So when money's such like money right now is pretty much because of the administration. It's taped on lies, right? And then they throw lies at you. They throw money at you, right? Like snowballs. And so what is your process right now in saying, I have to ask each one of you, your process for this fundraising, like, because you're either you're going to these elitists or you're nickel and diming like people who can't afford it.
To be honest, I'm nickel and diming people who can't afford it because I'm not taking money from elitists.
Yeah.
I can't morally take money from somebody who can come back to me and say, you know, I gave you money, now I'm your constituent, do as I fucking say. I can't do it. So, and let me put it this way, actually. So my campaign has not fundraised at all. Not one time have we had any traditional fundraising done, and we've raised just under $15,000 to the state. And that's just from people who hear about the campaign and they want to donate. Also, statistically, again speaking, as long as it hasn't been swayed too far off the point, but we have made the ballot. So with that, 15 grand and not fundraising, we have made American history in this state and in this country.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I am so fucking proud to say all of that and to know that we did all of that. Now, what happens, to your point, what happens once we're on the ballot, that's a different fucking story. Now I have to start traditionally fundraising because he's already netted over $500,000 from corporations this cycle. Yeah. Right. And so I have to compete with that. He's just going to slam me with ads left and right. You know what I mean? He's going to spend every fucking dime he can to hold that seat down. And I'm not going to be able to.
What are the kind of things that you foresee him saying? Like, this guy's a veteran. He's
I think it's going to be. So he can attack me for my progressive values because my district's very purple. So to cause me to lose a lot of independent and moderate.
This guy is super even. He likes everyone to be treated fairly.
Legislative experience is a big one he likes to attack me on when we go against each other at DTC meetings.
Yeah.
Lack of legislative experience. He likes to tackle that. Like I'm who the fuck am I? I don't have any experience doing this shit.
Yeah, but who the fuck is he? Because he's had the job.
Who the fuck are you? Because you're doing a terrible fucking job.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Kyle's going to get more legislative experience in 6 months actually drafting for the people than you've probably done in 30 years not doing the legislative duty.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. And I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I have to throw this in there. If you are an establishment person and you are getting money from corporations, you're not doing your job. They're doing your job, and you get to vote on whatever the fuck they tell you to vote on.
You're the
so
puppet.
If that is your legislative experience, I'm good.
Right.
Give me the new guy. I'm
if
struggling.
Experience was everything, why are we in this position that we're in now?
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you consider
and I
failure
always like to remind
experience?
People, inexperience does not mean like
incompetence.
Inexperience does not mean incompetence. Right. I have a lot of experience. Like I have my corporate experience. My corporate experience is valuable in the sense that like I've created teams from nothing to run multi-$100-million projects. Right.
Has anyone ever cut you? Has anyone cut you an extra check or anything that maybe slid under the table or anything?
No, I wish.
Listen, no, you don't wish. No, you don't wish. It's a guess who the fuck you are as a politician, damn it.
I just think all your guys' life experience is experience enough. Like you're representing, you're running for the House of Representatives. Like you're supposed to represent everyday people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Jim Himes cannot make $20 last a week. I have lived on $20. I live paycheck to paycheck now.
Yeah.
Right? I just got paid Friday, spent 35% of it on bills, paid my mother back, right? No, actually that was free. We do the real stuff. We go to the bar, the guy's just there. I get some water or a beer, and then we drink. We sing in front of everybody. But my point is that $20 to an average voter is staying alive. It's a copay.
Yeah.
Like the money matters. It's a couple dollars in the gas tank. Some of these constituents, what's their experience living under the effects of their own policies?
Yeah.
Insulated by their own congressional health care, insulated by their privilege with Delta, which proud for Delta, they just rescinded that over the TSA scandal, insulated by their buddy-buddy meetings to get things done. They're not meritorially swaying someone to the argument. They're pinchering people with influence. That's not team building. That's not dialogue. That's vicissitudes of power. So is that experience? If you're a constituent, like right now, Kyle's district is one of the poorest in the country. My district is ranked consistently second for income inequality of all congressional districts. Extreme poverty, extreme wealth.
Yeah.
He'll probably run an attack ad saying, I don't want to work hard and I'm a socialist and I blah, blah, blah. But I actually know what it's like.
These are the same idiots. These are the same idiots.
I'm able to grind
that'll
my
say,
knees to the bone. I'm a working man.
These are the same idiots that say, you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. No, the education system doesn't need any money at all.
Right.
If wit and willpower and sweat equity immediately gave you a return on investment, I would be a billionaire.
You and me both.
Period.
We'd be high-fiving each other on the top of a mountain, my guy.
Do we find it ironic that the Senate passed legislation that would get TSA paid literally the day after Delta was like, yeah, you don't get any more fucking benefits with this until you fix this?
Yep.
And the Senate's like, no, hold on, I like my benefits.
Yeah, because they don't know what it's like to be like us. The second they find a little chink in the armor, they freak out and they try and fill it, and it happens to maybe benefit us.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. They don't know what it's
I don't
like.
know about you guys, but I'm planning to drive to DC and back every time.
That was
Like,
my
I'm
plan.
Not planning on
I'm
flying.
not taking a plane. If anything, I'll take a train.
Yeah.
Because also, then what do you have a second
How long of
car
a ride
then?
is that?
6
It's
hours
like 5.5,
from
6
Milford.
hours.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Just
easy.
carpool.
Well, I have a
That's
ton
easy.
of friends who don't always have access to stable work because we don't have really great labor laws up here. I was going to hire friends to be drivers and like get an old U-Haul, clandestine, deck it out for cheap. No, but I'm dead serious. Why would I have an
And
increased
just fucking
carbon
video game in the
footprint?
back while you drive
Connecticut
down?
sounds
I
terrible.
will now. That's a great idea, Mr. Galk, and I'm going to
Connecticut
name it
sounds
after you.
terrible.
Connecticut's
Why would
great.
anyone want to
Our
live
leaders are
there?
terrible.
I'm kidding. I'm
Because
kidding.
you get great healthcare access.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're number 2 in the country.
I
for
love
healthcare
Connecticut. I've lived in
access.
Connecticut my entire life. I would never leave.
Yeah.
Are we?
I think so. We're right behind
Which one are we?
Massachusetts.
I
they're
couldn't
number
quite
1.
hear it.
Like number 2 for healthcare access in the country.
We are?
I think so. We're up
Look
I
at
there.
don't have health care right
We're
now.
really
I had it when I
We're
lived in the
also
city.
Connecticut
That's
is
why you're
also
number
really
2.
high up there I missed that part. Connecticut's also really high up there for the amount of money left in your check after all taxes are paid.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Believe it or not.
Yeah. I
And
don't
people
doubt
like
it.
to bitch about our taxes, but I don't know. I guess the pay scales are slightly higher. But also that's you have to take
Send them
median,
out
right?
here.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
also have to base it on what social services do you get back. I've looked at my New York City
Right.
taxes from when I lived there. And I looked at my Connecticut taxes, and I know which one's higher. And I know which one I get more bang for my buck, and I know which one I'd rather have. Right? And I had one year, actually maybe 2, where I had to pay both because I was working in one, living in another. So but we don't get a lot of bang for our buck back unless it's generational wealth and they can take advantage of all these tax abatements and loopholes and programs pretty much specifically written for them by their administration, by their legislators.
And again, everything that you've been saying goes back to, like, we're talking about 40-hour work weeks designed to grind you down to you don't want to do anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do research. You barely want to get out of bed in the morning if it's your day off.
Yeah. Congress only works 4 days a week. We've lobbied on Fridays. They're not there.
Even more,
A
even
lot of
worse
them
than
aren't there.
that.
Maybe
All
some
last
work
year
on.
they worked 47 days.
It was 132.
They worked 132 days.
Yeah, but don't
And-
be impressed by that. That's fucking abysmal.
That is
Like,
abysmal.
Terrible.
That is.
There's
abysmal.
365 in a year.
That's a part-time job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And they make $174,000 starting pay for that part-time
No,
job.
don't they make
no matter how
180?
much
Didn't they
work.
just raise their pay last year?
The bastards, they might have.
No, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure they just raised their
Isn't
pay
that
to
the
180
fast
last
track
year.
to millionaires, though?
I don't want
Yeah.
that. You know what? I want to raise a bill that says you, as a member of the Congress, must be paid the minimum wage of the state you represent. Full stop. Watch how
rough.
quick it changes.
That'd be wild.
Watch
That
how
would
quick
be
things
wild.
change when they have to live like
That's true.
us.
Minimum wage would change real fucking quick.
Yeah. I mean, the bill would fail. But the
But still,
right, like I know what I'm dealing with. I'm not an idiot, but like I'll advance it
fail.
just to
Because I'm
for
thinking
the
myself,
people.
fuck that. Connecticut doesn't want to get on board. I'm not screwing myself.
I'm not gonna
crazy.
lie. Like if I make it into this in the 2 years of just the one term, I'll make more than I've ever made in my entire life working.
Yeah.
So
That's
I mean,
crazy.
I would love to be able to pay off all my debts, right? But I'll still fucking advance that bill if it hurts me, and I know the bill's gonna fail. But I want people to know who's not really there for them.
But it's symbolic, right? Stuff like that
Yeah.
gets people to think. It's still worth putting out there, right?
Yeah.
It's an idea.
Yeah, and then
you
you hold
have
people
to
to law
pitch
about it.
ideas.
we just talked
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
ideas. Putting like you got to put them out in the universe. They're out there to snatch the star. Like they're out there in the universe to snatch those stars. And you put them out, you put them into existence. Makes people like think about like, oh well, maybe this could be something that won't work, but let me try something that may
Yeah.
work. You know, just think outside the box.
Yeah.
Well, and new laws come into being because a
Sorry,
judge wrote a
gentlemen,
dissent.
I have to start wrapping up soon. I have my another event at 8:30. So I just want to say thank you for hi. This is my dog.
Hi,
I just
dog.
want to say thank you for having me on. It's been a lot of fun chatting with the four of you all. And I don't know if you have any questions or anything before I go, but again,
Before
thank
you
for
go, go
having
ahead
me
and
on.
let everybody know who you are, the district that you're running for, and where they can find more about you online, and when we can schedule you to have a solo, you, me, and Mike.
I'd love it. So my name's Andrew Rice. I'm running for Congress in Connecticut's 3rd Congressional District against long-term incumbent Rosa DeLauro. You can visit my website at www.riceforct.com. We have a newsletter. We need volunteers. We obviously need fundraising. And the biggest challenge for us now is going to be ballot access. So staying tuned for when the petition process opens. If you have any questions, feel free to email us. If you have any suggestions, we love hearing from our constituents, and have fun because fun fights fascism.
Hell yeah!
My man. All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you guys. Yoshi.
Thank you, Andrew.
I'll see y'all later.
Bye,
Take care.
Yoshi.
Later.
Give Yoshi some love from us.
Cutie.
He's ready
He's
for
my
the fire.
policy advisor. He calls us
Slash
the underdog
security.
campaigns. Take care, gentlemen.
Have a
See
good
ya,
night.
Andrew. So yeah. It's just interesting that the more people we talk to about this and we get a peek behind the curtain, two things happen. One, I get upset and I'm like, is any of this worth it? And then two, just talking to you guys and you guys actually having the courage to say, no, let's give this a go. Let's see what we can do. Maybe we can be that agent of change.
It was like, to be honest, it's not because I'm such a moral person, right?
Yeah.
It's because like I'm fucking angry.
Yeah.
And it was the same reason I joined the army, right? I was working 3 jobs, going to college at night, and I was fucking pissed. I was angry at the system. By the way, I was a Republican back then because I was raised to be a hardcore Republican. And whenever something was wrong in life, it was the Democrats' fault, right? And the government was out to get me, and the world was meant to beat me down. And that's just how I was raised.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I'm going to join the
Same.
fucking army because what else am I going to do, right? And I was mad at the system and mad at, like, I have to work 3 jobs. I can barely survive and I can't go to college. And you know what I mean? I was angry. And that's why I joined. And so, like, I'm like, when it came to this, Like I'm a staunch progressive now. Like I'm a lefty. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm fucking angry again. I'm angry
Yeah.
at the way people are treated. I'm angry at the future my daughters have to look at, right? I'm angry that there's a fucking pedophile in the White House and there's people defending that. Like I'm
Yeah.
angry, you know? And so I'm like, well, I'm gonna fight. Like, what else do I know how to do? And that's I
Right.
don't know shit. I don't know jack shit other than how to fight. I fight and I don't give up. Like that's the only things I've ever done in my life. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do here, right? It's not because I'm this great moral person, right? It's because that's all I know how to do, and
Yeah.
I want to fight.
Some of the conversations I had with people that are for Trump and their parents, and I would say, well, if your kid's principal was a pedophile, would they go to that school anymore? And they're kind of like, they don't say anything, but they're gonna walk away like, that guy's
Thinking
an
about
asshole.
something.
That guy's an asshole. Why would he say that? Now I gotta change my hat. You know what I'm saying? But
It's bonfire season. Why not?
Yeah.
we need some fuel for the fire, right? But Mark Davis did the same thing too, out in Tampa. Like he's just a pissed off guy that said, you know what, I'm leaving the corporate world and I'm going to run.
You want to talk about a young man that doesn't have any fucks left.
Man.
He will go into a
Publix.
and just start going wild.
He said Donald Trump's a pedophile, like in the middle of the grocery store, and the guy was,
Hell yeah.
but you know what? That's again it's things like that that will let people know that it's okay to think that way, like out loud. You don't just
Right.
have to keep it inside your head, and when you go home, you're like, yeah, that guy was right. No, you can go out there and do something about it.
Yeah.
There's a scene
And you're not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone. You know, Kyle and I had similar upbringings in that way. I was raised staunch Republican. I was angry. I went to a community college and, you know, was looking at the Army because I also was like, what am I going to fucking do with my life? And at that time, I wanted to be a cop, right? So I was looking into just trying to be there for people on their worst day, trying to believe in some positivity in the world because shit was so hard, right? And wanting to be that agent, wanting to be that difference. And there's a scene in Lord of the Rings, and again, staunch progressive, right? There's a scene in Lord of the Rings I really, really love. And it's a scene where Theoden King says, what are we going to do against such reckless hate? And he's just exasperated. He's helpless. He's disempowered. Here is a man who's fought to every end of his rope for his people, and they're all looking down the barrel of death. And Aragorn looks at him right in the face, is like, ride out with me. Ride out to meet it. And there's just this radical empowerment that happens when we go, yeah. Whoo, this sucks. All right, embrace the suck. Let's go. Like, and just, I hate campaigning. I only started fundraising 3 weeks ago. I made $150. Right?
Boy.
I'm struggle busting. I go to law school. I work, but this is all I know how to do. And you know what? I feel great campaigning. It grinds me to shit, but so would everything else. And I get to meet people, and I get to ride out with people, and ride out with people, and ride out with people. And now I have thousands of people who are excited and feeling good, and that might not have happened.
Yeah.
So I have a love-hate relationship with campaigning because it's the way I'm changing the world, but it's hard.
And just
And
take
that's
a
what we
look
gotta
at what's
do.
happening with the No Kings thing. No Kings wasn't even an idea all that long ago, even just a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then the first one, they made noise, and the second one, they had way more people. And this last one, they're talking like 8-9 million, was it?
Yeah, up to 9
They're
million.
saying 1 in 50 Americans.
So a few
1 in
years
50
ago,
Americans.
maybe you did feel a little weird, like the system wasn't working and people aren't listening and all that stuff. But now you got 8 million people behind you saying, "We right at dawn."
You
And they're
say
not
that
all-
though, but let me put some reality on this because we were talking about this in our group chat today, me, Joe, and Andrew.
Yeah.
The amount of people who were at the No Kings rallies we were at who were like, yeah, I'm not going to sign your petition, or no, I'm not really interested in switching out the incumbent. I mean, like, I didn't try to get any signatures because, like I said, that's not my route. But Andrew did, and out of like 8,000 plus people that were there that walked by his booth or so, he said he got 150 signatures out of like
150.
8,000.
I had different volunteers at 4 different protests. We got 0.
People just don't. They just don't like. want to participate outside of yelling, and I don't know
Right.
why. I don't know if they morally feel like they're doing the right thing, standing up for other people, and it's just not affecting them yet, and maybe that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
They haven't been beat
Yeah.
down enough. I really don't know what it is, but there's
Yeah.
people just aren't as invested as I'd like for them to be, They're
Yeah.
really not.
I honestly don't think that people realize just how easy it is to mobilize.
Yeah.
That maybe that's
They
true
don't know
too.
how to organize.
There's a lot of times, you know how easy it is to share a meme. I had to unfollow some people on Instagram because they were politically on Instagram, they were killing it, but in real life, it was just like,
Killing
what
you.
are you doing? What are you doing? You might as well save the carpal tunnel. Stop sending this shit. I had to stop following them. But it's super easy. Go online and do a search. When is No Kings rally? From 11 to 1? All right, cool. We ride at dawn. Boom. You're out there, and you're going to connect with people with similar interests, with similar goals.
So like I know Cliff Cash has been involved in like the basic, like since the beginning, right? But he is frustrated because they're not effective enough.
Yeah.
Right. So when you go like in Bernard Taylor's district where I'm at, he'll be like, yeah, they just had in Trump's in Mar-a-Lago's district or whatever, they had we got to win in there, right? But it was only 22% turnout. And I'm like, man, that sucks. Bernard is like, that's good. And I'm like, out of all these people, you get however 8-9 million mobilized, but what's the population in the country? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like like is it effective enough? I know it rattles cages and gets people thinking, but is it effective enough? Like, are they doing it in the right places other than just a park or a street? Like when you guys walk into Congress and things like that, like.
How's he doing, by the way?
Bernard?
Yeah.
He's doing well, man. And that's not just because I'm out there knocking on doors with him.
Hey,
But
I'm gonna ask all of you guys a favor. Please go sign his signature sheet. Everyone in Florida 21, please. Because if this man does not make it into office, he's going to turn into a stand-up comedian, and I don't want him to. I don't want his skills. His Instagram is hilarious.
It's good, isn't it? He'd be like, hey, yo, hey, wake up. Yeah, you shouldn't.
Right?
You should have done that.
Just don't say that dumb shit anymore. You know what I mean? I'll give you a ride to the hospital. Like, it's so he's good.
He's so
Bernard's
good.
the man. He is genuine. He's the real deal. Like, you got a guy that's a paramedic and an EMT that saves people, but he wants to save his district. But
he gets it.
That's like you guys too. You get where you're at and you understand it, and implementing that and being transparent through your whole process, through your whole campaign. Consistency is key. So that's why I love doing these shows with all of you guys. Vance Bostic was on, and like just the transparency and connecting with guys like that, and like seeing like-minded ideas or sharing ideas. What failed? What was good? Like he's out there clicking posters like we used to do when we used to do shows back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like this is how selling tapes on the corner. It's the same idea. It's just applied differently.
That's it.
Translated differently.
So so you live down there then?
Yeah, I'm in District 21.
I'm from Lake Worth.
Oh, really?
Boynton Beach, Lake Worth. I grew up over there.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a 561 number. Actually, I'm a transplant. I've only lived here about 10 years, maybe a little bit more. So I'm like really invested in. I know he's a little south of that, but I'm like really invested in him winning this.
Bernard Taylor for Congress.
There it is.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. No, I love that dude.
I got all the shit, man.
Yeah. No, he's great. I met him in DC last year. He's the coolest.
Mike goes out and canvases for him too.
I'm not
I love that.
great, man. Yeah, man.
I love
That's
that.
great.
I love that dude. And I hope I get to work with him.
And I'll come on the show, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're all about these roundtables,
Yeah.
It's all about it. But
it's all about building network and more importantly, letting people know who you are and what you're like and all that stuff. Because from what I understand, A lot of their money goes onto TV and all that stuff. The people that we're looking for are already on YouTube. They're already on Instagram. They're already on TikTok. So you mean to tell me all I have to do is sit here and talk to you guys, and I'll edit this video real quick, and help you guys out? To me, all I heard was, we're selling tapes out of the trunk? Okay, let's go.
That's it.
That's
Do
all
like
I
an old
heard.
soul
I'm
school.
in.
Yeah, man. And you got to think this too, like in right now, especially how dangerous it is with all these network mergers and things like that. This is the platform that we have, like that.
Yeah.
Like this is all we got right now because we can't
the way
trust
out.
you guys can't trust giving your money, hard-earned money to these networks to, put on your ads because they're going to put them in some, I don't know how it works, but they'll probably put them in a shitty spot when nobody's watching and like it goes to waste.
Well, they reject them. So you cannot pay to have an ad on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok that's political. They'll rip that shit down instantly. And TikTok ban.
That goes for everybody, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in theory, right? But somehow some get through. You know what I'm saying? But and TikTok fucks with left-leaning creators for sure. Like I had nearly 500,000 followers when my last TikTok was banned, right, for making a video about Trump being in the Epstein files. And I mean, we're back up to across all platforms. We're back up to about 300,000. But it's like that shit's not easy to grind to. You know what I mean? And it's just like TikTok. It's not what it used to be. Like it used to be a place where we could actually get the word out, right? And now it's just like Instagram and just like Meta. It's owned by an American company that is a corporation that wants to lobby the government to make themselves as much money as possible. And the government right now happens to be a fascist regime, and so they're going to go along with that, right? Because that's how they're going to make the most money possible by being able to do these mergers and acquisitions that Donald Trump puts his thumb on the scale. The
little greasy thumb.
Also, I'm curious. So I'm curious how it's going to go now that he just approved the merger or the acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery, which includes CNN.
Oh,
they're so angry.
They're going to clean up.
Yeah. But so now I'm curious if CNN's going to start going like super right wing, like Fox.
Oh, for sure.
How it's going to end up.
For sure.
They're going to do it. They're going to put on their little gloves and they're
this time next year you'll see outright. Yeah.
You can just
by this time next year, Zoran
my
Mondani, what a blah blah blah.
Go back to my analogy about Dad driving the car.
What about Dad driving the car?
That's exactly.
By the way, what is he driving? Like, what are we in? What kind of family are we?
One of those wood panel station wagons from the 70s, baby. That's one of this shit.
Yeah. Well, you've been living in California too long.
We're a gremlin with big ass rims.
That was the family car back in the day. We had a gremlin.
You did?
A shit brown gremlin. Oh, man.
Nice.
Glorious.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like a Chevy Nova. Like all the old cars that used to be around.
Yeah. My first car was a Horizon. A 1979 Plymouth Horizon.
Nice.
You 91
Mercury.
Carlos, you said you're
54.
54.
Yeah. Last weekend. Yeah. My AARP magazine is waiting for me downstairs.
No shit. You said last weekend?
Yeah.
My birthday's the 22nd.
Last weekend. Almost twins.
Happy belated birthday to you too.
Yeah. Happy birthday, fellas.
Joe, when's your birthday?
I'm a terrible friend. December 11th.
Shit.
I won't remember that.
I'm in July.
That's all right. I don't remember it. I don't celebrate it much anymore.
My first car was a 2021 or 2001. Jesus Christ, 2001.
God damn it.
Mitsubishi Montero Sport. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Nice.
Of course.
Yeah, I love that fucking thing. And my sister rolled it on the highway like 5 years ago. I was so upset. It was my favorite car, dude. It was a shit box, you know what I mean? But it was my shit box. It was my first
exactly.
Shit box.
Hey, let me tell you about my car. It was a, like I said, it was a 1979 Plymouth Horizon. I bought it for $800. And this was in 1989. Pulled up. I was on the baseball team, and I pulled up to the high school, and about 4 or 5 cheerleaders jumped in.
Hell yeah!
And we were going, and like the shocks were terrible. It smelled Bernie, like there was like smoke coming out. It's never seen this many people in this car. And I finally got to the place, and it was just like, the cheerleader that was friends of mine. She's like, "Thanks for the ride." I was like, "All right." She's like, "I think your car's on fire." Just get out of the car. Just get out of the car.
No, it just does that. Don't worry about it.
It's a feature, not a bug.
The Nas didn't hit quite right.
It's like heated seats, but back in the day,
I had a 1991 Mercury Topaz, which is a 4-cylinder car. The wheel is shorter than, it's narrower than my computer. So if I cut the wheel, I could cut the wheel with 2 fingers just like by doing that. It was like spinning wool. So I would do a little martial art, like 6 silk whirling exercise like this, hang on, and that thing could pull a 180 like nothing. But it was 4-cylinder.
I'm not gonna lie. This thing looks like a Fox body. You know what I mean? Like the 5.
It was crazy.
It's cool looking.
It was fun as hell. I dream of getting another and putting like a V6 in it. It was a fun car.
I never heard of a Topaz before.
No, that Topaz, it had like 17 nicknames, but number 1 on the list was Millennium Falcon. The trunk was huge. I carried so much trunk beer in that thing. We were partying on every parking lot, right? And we'd made Taco Bell runs, and I did illegal like things in that car. I would die in any other vehicle.
So people
that car
pooped on the
saved me
seats.
from 18-wheelers. Cool. But you know what it was? It was a maneuverability thing. It did not go above 79 miles an hour.
Yeah.
No governor. It just couldn't. Like the engine just couldn't.
No governor. It just physically couldn't.
Cops were walking up to the car as you're trying to peel out.
When I was
Florida, I'm going as fast as I can.
In film school, I had this red Grand Am that we nicknamed the Blood Clot because it was red and it didn't go anywhere.
That's great. That's great.
That's great. That's so good.
You were in film school?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's cool.
I went to film and animation school. Yeah.
Nice.
Lots of performers
here.
Project?
Yeah. What'd you say, Kyle?
You work on any projects we might know?
No, I'm independent / I talk to you guys on YouTube, but last year there was a racing team that took me down to Baja de Mexico. What is it? The peninsula, the Baja de Mexico. Anyway, there was a 5-day race, and so we drove down, and it was all off-road. We went from the tippy top of Mexico down San Jose del Cabo, all off-roading, and so that's the film that I'm working on now.
Yeah.
I'm doing like motion graphics and stuff right now. It's a pain in the ass.
I'm excited to watch
it.
You know,
Joe is an actor, right? He's trying to get on Law and Order.
Hell yeah, dude. Joe's always on the back of my mind.
I'm on everything. That's how I learned a lot of my stunts, was falling off my own car, telling
every
jokes.
Every time I ask Joe, hey,
doing stump speeches.
In Topaz.
This is how I know Joe is an actor, because every time I ask him a question, he gives me the eyebrow. So look.
Oh, do I do that?
So
you're doing it right now.
Like the eyebrows are trying to cover more ground.
My name is Joe.
They're trying to protect the whole landmass.
Running for Congress.
Look at, and that's the other way I know that he's an actor, because his lights just turned off.
You had to set the timer.
I'll show you how you know I'm an actor, right? I'll give you behind the scenes tour.
My name is Joe Perez-Caputo.
YouTube 12-hour backlight.
There you go.
Let's go, baby.
There you go.
So that I can control a little bit of the lighting when the sun goes down. Right? Little tricks, self-taping, doing Shakespeare at 1 a.m., trying to make it look like a Sunday morning because that's what the scene calls for.
Well, that's what
me and Joe are going to collab on something.
I remember like reaching out to you, man. I was like, you dropped a couple gems, and I was like, this is it, man. This is what gravitates people towards you. You know, the charisma, like and things like that.
Yeah.
got me 1,000 followers from nothing.
You got one extra, you know.
See what I mean? With the
hell yeah. Mike, what was your first car?
It was a 99 Hyundai Elantra, but my second car was an 87 Fifth Avenue. So I went backwards.
You went backwards.
I went backwards. And in 2001, it was an 87 Fifth Avenue. I bought for $500. That got it had the faded leather top on the back. at the back of it,
Mhm.
and it the suspension was amazing. It felt like I was on a luxury cruise in a shit
Damn.
box.
That's awesome.
But I know I was rolled
That's
up in
like
the wrong
the Gorilla
neighborhood.
DeVille car.
Yeah, and then somebody threw a car jack through my back window, and then after that, people were fucking trying to do some damage to that a beautiful piece of machinery. It didn't have a cool name like the Blood Clot or anything, but
What a name.
I
I've
had
named every car I've ever owned Melissa. And then ironically, I married a woman named Melissa.
Whew,
It's called
you
winning,
saved
Tom.
so many arguments.
You fucking telling you right. Like every car and motorcycle I've ever owned since I was a kid was Melissa.
all my cars now are named after the Golden Girls.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like
There's
that.
only one of them
Which
left.
one are
right
you
now.
on now?
I'm in Rose right now. I had a Jeep Cherokee that was a piece of shit, so that was a Stanley. That was the Stan, so it's all good, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
See, this is why we don't script shit.
No, that's
Yeah.
fair.
This is way too
You
much
never
fun.
know what you'll run into.
Yeah.
No.
I did.
Plus, I
I'm
don't
not
like.
prepared
I don't
for the
like talking
scandal of
to.
diverging Trump beer.
I don't really like having fun with or talking to people. They're like, yeah, well, you know,
These are my talking points.
and I'm like,
that why?
not
Is that
even
why
in
we-
real life, not on my channel, nothing. Like, give
Yeah.
me you, like whatever,
Yeah.
whatever that was. No me gusta. Like, undo.
No me gusta. Is that why when Andrew came out and corrected me, you were like, all right, Mr. Fact Check. I was like, damn. Damn.
I like to bust people's balls too.
It's good.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, I got so offended about the Ford comment. I was just like,
like,
yo, I love Ford. Okay, don't fuck with Ford.
Listen,
I think I just hate fucking GM so much that like I love Ford. You know, like
yeah,
I don't think it's
Ford
like
is the
thing that
one.
Ford
Ford
or-
was the one that didn't take the government money back in the day. They're like, nah, we good. We're about to.
You're right.
We're about to weather
They
this
didn't
storm.
take the bailout.
Yeah,
They
they
didn't.
did not.
Yeah.
Mad props to them for that.
See what I say? Don't shit on Ford.
is it Gerald Ford or Ford Motors? Because
Ford
we're
Motor
about to have
Company.
some words in a second.
Who the fuck Gerald Ford? No, I'm just kidding.
So Kyle, you're in the country. What kind
Yeah.
of crops do you guys grow out there?
You got some tobacco out there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we have to. Well, there's still tobacco out here. Most of it's been like converted to Amazon warehouse space, which is kind of upsetting.
Damn.
Oh, you got
But yeah, no, it's there's a lot of corn. There's a lot of like farming, if you will.
Yeah.
Like not not like
Like
crop.
livestock.
Like livestock. Thank you. That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah,
like
we got a lot of
ranching
cows
more.
in Connecticut, ironically.
Yeah, we have a lot
Yeah.
of cows in Connecticut.
Kyle, Mystic is in
wouldn't
your
think that.
district, right? Mystic?
Mystic is in my district, so we do have almost everything on the water, like everything north of the river and on the water is ours.
I'll let
So
my sister
Mystic.
know. She's out in Mystic. I'll
Hell yeah, have her look me up.
Right
Gotcha.
on.
That'd be awesome.
yeah, man.
Yeah, Mystic's in there, New London, Groton, everything on the water up there is in there. So we do have like some wealthy pockets, right?
Sure.
Because it's on the ocean, so there's going to be wealthy people there inherently. But you go inward, like inland, and
Yeah.
it just gets real fast.
Yeah. Are
Yeah.
your farmers dealing with a lot of the, like, in Middle
Yeah.
America? There's a bunch of dudes or a bunch
They
of
are.
farmers
And I'll tell
losing
you
their
what,
farms.
we're kicking up an initiative. So we kind of have to transition now. So we've been focusing so heavily on the DTCs to get on the ballot via the delegates, right? Which we talked about earlier. And now we're pivoting to voter acquisition and voter awareness, right? Because before it was like, we don't have time to worry about voters. We have to worry about delegates, right? But now that we should have that locked down, we can start worrying about voters for the actual election, right? And
Yeah.
whereas this is the difference between Courtney and I. Courtney's got enough money. He can just do it all. You know what I mean? He can just throw ads left and right. We don't have that luxury. So now we're pivoting and we're going to start working with some of the farmers unions. We're going to start, because the thing is, like, a lot of these rural areas are very Republican, and they don't need to be. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's not exclusive that you have to be Republican because you own a farm. And like,
Yeah.
you can clearly see that the Republican Party is fucking you over being a farmer right now, right?
Yeah.
And I'll help you
Yeah.
see it very clearly if you don't. You know what I mean? Come on over, brother. Like, blue is nice. We're
Yeah.
chill. You know what I mean? We have a
Yeah.
good time. You know. And so anyway, that's kind of like the game plan for the farming community is like just. We're never going to convert them to full progressive, but like, you know, let them know the water's warm over here, right? You don't have to
Right.
stay angry and red all the time. You know what I mean?
And I think
Yeah.
that's a really valuable point. On the blue side of the argument, we have a lot of business people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of business people
Mm-hmm.
that understand it's cool to create products, but I need people to have money in order to buy these
Buy
products.
the products. Yeah.
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 I like to
What a
fancy
novel
myself.
concept.
I like to fancy myself as somewhat of a businessman. I'm on the creative
Yeah.
end of things. I just learned how to charge people for what I care about making.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Businessman. But if I'm making things and no one is buying it, or no one can buy it, of course small businesses aren't going to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's funny is I have an MBA from UConn, right, which is one of the best MBA schools in the country. And they didn't teach me that. Do you know what they taught me? How to maximize profit. That's
Yep.
literally every course is how to maximize profit. Every single course for the entire MBA.
That's
But you're
crazy.
right. They don't talk about that. And like what the Trump administration is doing to working class folks is well, A, it's criminal, like legitimately criminal.
Legitimately.
But B, you're making them to where they can't afford things. If you own a business, that's bad for business.
Yeah.
People need to be able to buy shit. What a novel idea, right? People need
That
to be able to
bubble's
buy
going to burst. People are
It
talking
is.
about general
But when
strikes.
it
People can't
does-
afford to eat today.
Mm-hmm.
who wins. And that's what matters is who's in charge when it does, because that's going to matter. That's going to define who wins, right? Is it going to be the
Yeah.
major corporations that are bailed out all over again, right?
And
Or is it
ain't
gonna
that a
be the
bitch?
American-
When it comes to bailing them out, there's no problem. They're too big to
None.
fail and all that other. But what about society? Don't you
And
think
it's our fucking
society is
tax
a little
dollars.
bit too big to
Yeah.
fail?
Yeah.
I think
It's our tax
between
dollars
all
that bail
the
them out.
between all the billionaire, like the $1 billion bailouts from 2008, 2009, 2010, the stimulus packages, if you wrap all that up in a bow and divide it by every American who was alive at the time, it was something astronomical. It was like
Yeah.
$8,000, $9,000 per citizen. Bail out the citizens.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no working class bailout. If you're going to
Right.
bail out somebody and move money, trickle up economics works every time. Trickle down economics was the best lie ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
90,
Here's an idea I pitched Chris Fields. That was the first time I pitched it. I'm going to pitch it to you guys. I want people to start shooting holes in this thing, right? So instead of like the bailouts and all that stuff and all of these organizations, meaning like the parts of the government that are supposed to fix homelessness and SNAP benefits and EBT and all this stuff, all of that stuff, if we just created a UBI, Universal Basic Income, but it was delivered via, like when you're on unemployment, I don't know how they do it over there, but here they had hired Bank of America to you getting your money. So we got a ATM card or we say ATM, right? You get a bank card that then you can transfer your money or pay your bills or go buy groceries or whatever. If we just took that and broadened it where everyone had UBI, if you were a homeless person, you would be able to pay your rent with the money that we just sent you. And now we're streamlining the process to getting you your money, because the problem that I see is we have all this money and then we give it to people that then give it to people that then give it to people that then they're supposed to be servicing the homeless community, but they don't. The money never reaches. So what if we flip that? Everybody gets money and you spend it if you need housing, if you need therapy, if you need medicine, if you need whatever. Then that way we're creating the consumers that then feed back up. Does that make sense?
So
Yeah.
it does. But the problem that you're going to run into is that people are going to call bullshit and they're not going to do it because they don't trust other people.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the problem we have is like, so say you do a UBI, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you do a UBI just for homeless people. You
Okay.
would effectively solve the homeless epidemic, whatever you call it, right?
Sure.
by 97%, which effectively is solving it, right? You're going to have people that are going to, relapse to drugs, blow all their money, not spend it on rent. It's going to happen, which is fine, right? And so effectively, you would have solved it having like a 97% success rate or something like that. But the problem is the people that are going to get the bullhorns, that are going to get the mainstream coverage, those are the 3%, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's going to spin up the 50% of America that says you just blew all of our money by giving it to homeless people when they just blew it on drugs, right?
Yeah.
And that's so. In fact,
But that's just it. We're not going to let you can't just be willy nilly like that. You would get like if it's at that level, you would get a little bit extra money to pay for therapy as a social worker. You'd pay a social worker. You'd be assigned a social worker that then would make sure, hopefully, that you're not using your money doing drugs, instead, like getting back to what we consider normalcy.
Yeah, but so no. Is it their money? Is it a universal basic income, or are we giving them a house and giving them food and giving them therapy, or are we giving them money? What are we doing? Right.
We're right. Yeah, and then you'd have to babysit them, and then that creates more problems.
Yep. The truth is, we have to give them money
Yeah.
and not babysit them. That's what you have to do. You have to
Yeah.
inherently trust the person to want to be better. And 97% of them will be better.
Sure.
97% of them will improve their lives, will get a job, will find a nice place to live. Because humans don't want to live on a dirty ass street. They don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's
I've
not
met
something
people. I've met people that don't mind it. They don't want to play this game. I talk to everybody. I promise you, I talk to everybody.
Right, but they're not
There's
playing
some
the game
homeless
if they have a
people that
UBI.
are homeless because they
Right,
choose to
right.
be. They don't want to be a part of this dumb
The
game
system.
that everybody is tired of.
But if they have a UBI, they're not part of the game. Is my point.
The ones
Right.
that buy into the system are
Right.
the ones that
Right.
97%.
Right. And so you would get a 90. I'm pretty confident you'd get somewhere around 97%, if not a little bit more efficacy on this, right? But like my social media director she's going for a PhD, and her PhD thesis is on, and I'm gonna butcher this. She's so much smarter than I'll ever be, but it's basically on how the most aggressive, most borderline factual conspiraciest people end up with the bullhorn and the biggest audiences every single time without fail. And it's true. And so her thesis is on why that happens, the human psychology behind it, and all this and that, right? And so my
cool.
point is that you will be successful, but those 3% are going to get picked up by the people with the bullhorn, and they're going to spin up the 50% of Americans that are going to come back and say, you just wasted all of our money, right? And all of our tax dollars, and you taxed us to give people drugs.
And
then,
you know what
and then that's
sucks?
going to create policy that flips it.
And you know what sucks? We know it works. This is what's happening in Dubai. They get
You're talking about the UBI?
Yeah, they get a form of UBI.
Mm.
They
From the
have
oil.
so much money that if you are from Dubai, you get things. You get a house, you get free education, you get a certain standard of living. And then if you want a little bit more than that, you go work.
That's how we should be in this country. That's so I call myself a social capitalist, right?
Yeah.
You should have a basic housing, food, education, healthcare. All that should be covered, right?
Yeah.
A basic level. You're not going to live, glitz and glam, right? But you have that covered from the day you're born to the day you die.
Yeah.
Food, healthcare, housing, education. And if you choose to become a capitalist above and beyond that, go for it. 100% I'm up for it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I call myself a social capitalist, because don't get me wrong, like I want to own a Porsche one day. I fucking do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't ever want to do it on the back of somebody else not being able to pay their bills, right? Not being able to feed their kids.
Right. And that's whenever I get into these discussions with people, they get nervous. You communist, you're Cuban, so you must be communist or socialist or something like that. I'm like, no, I'm not. I need you to get out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be in the streets. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
We got
Yeah.
things to do, and I work too hard. I work way too hard to be a socialist. I work way too hard to be a communist.
Yeah.
But I also, just like you know, I think we could do better. I didn't need to see you suffering for me to make it. I'm going to make it either way.
Right.
And then they could blow $94 million on like crab legs and furniture. Like where like it could be like it doesn't make sense. Like you could just redistribute
Right.
the money. Like
And
somehow
that's just it. Like you take the money and it goes straight to the people who are going to use it. Instead of, we're going to get this crook to give other crooks some money that then they're going to give those crooks some money, and then that's going to keep going. And by the time you get to the end of the crook line, the people that need the money
They
don't
got
get
nothing.
it.
It's $11,000 like what, a second that the Iran war is going on. I can already tell you, vets who are coming back from that war aren't getting the right health care, aren't getting the right treatment.
100%.
They're not going
Brother,
to be
the
taken care of.
PTSD that this administration, the PTSD alone for this society.
So Carlos, I don't know like what your experience is, right, in the Army, but can you fucking imagine the PTSD that's going to come from drone warfare, from being chased by a motherfucking drone?
Let me tell you this story. I told this story a couple weeks ago. This is my PTSD. I see all these dudes in ICE that are talking big talk.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the military, my guy. So you playing these little fake military games, it
It's
kind
so
of
funny to
pisses me
me.
off.
Yeah.
The other day I saw this dude running. He had a vest on and he had a bully breed dog with him. I wanted to see if I could take him just because I'm tired of ICE. Like, that's PTSD, baby.
Let's
That's me
go.
wanting to kick your ass in the middle of the street. I don't know you from Adam.
Yeah. No, these toy soldiers, I guess is what I call them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just a
It's
bunch of
disgusting.
fucking guys who grew up being angry, grew up being Republican,
Mm-hmm.
never made it into the military, or didn't join because they were scared, or
They were
didn't,
scared.
couldn't join for whatever fucking reason. In
Right.
my opinion, they were probably scared, right?
Yeah.
And now they're
Probably.
like, I have a safe place where I get the gun, nobody else gets a gun, right? And I can go beat up on people and be this
Right.
Billy badass from Call of Duty. And it's like, it's not the fucking same.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
ICE,
It's not the fucking
ICE
same.
agents, generally speaking, I don't know all of you guys, but I know for a fact that all you guys played Call of Duty.
And the thing is too is they're itching for someone to shoot back.
Because they've never been shot at.
Right. Like, but they want the people that they're going after to shoot back, to fight back. So then they can really shut the shit down.
Yeah.
The
irony is they're not trained enough to shut it
meaning the
down. They'll lose.
politicians.
The
The
politicians.
politicians
The
want us to
politicians.
shoot back.
The administration is waiting to shut the shit down.
Right.
I'll say this, like, there's a difference. There's a difference between being a cop and being a soldier. And it's not, this is not to
100%.
degrade police officers. Police officers, they go through some shit themselves, right? They have some really fucking tough
I
days.
don't want that job.
No, fuck no, I don't want that job. Thank you for doing your job, because I don't want it.
100%.
But it's a different world in that, like, when you're overseas, you're driving around worrying about lightly disturbed dirt being an IED, trash being an IED. You're worried about a child running into the street with a fucking vest on. You're worried about every single male-aged person on the planet in front of you has access to an assault weapon, like an AK-47, and wants to shoot you and knows how to shoot at you. Every single person, right? Every fucking one of them. Versus being an ICE agent here, where you're like, oh, I'm going to go into a house where nobody has any guns. I have a bulletproof vest on. I weigh an extra 80 pounds of mass because of all the ammunition I'm carrying, like I'm going into fucking war. So all you have to do is tackle somebody and you're going to break their fucking ribs, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a different world, and like they feel like they're playing super soldier, but they don't know what it's like to be a fucking soldier. They don't know what it's like to know that every motherfucker within 100-mile radius would shoot at you and can shoot at you and will shoot at you. You know what I mean?
And
Right.
how do the cops feel? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got these guys rolling around in their districts and their territories, and like I'm like, and like in Chicago, for instance, right? You got CPD out there, and they're doing their jobs, and then these guys are out here like showing up in their little costumes, and
With their
then
42 days of experience.
right,
Isn't
and
that
they
insane?
and you
Fucking
have
nuts.
and you're like, and then it's like in my district, everybody's deputized. So now like there's no differentiation, right? But like you're really how like I don't know, man. Like you risk your lives daily, and then the next thing you know, you got these guys imposing and threatening you and making you a target because they want to be
Right.
fucking heroes.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to act. And it's a bunch of dudes, like exactly what Kyle was saying. It's a bunch of these kids that were playing Call of Duty and stuff. They didn't have the marbles to sign on the paper, right? So now they got to
Exactly.
get their little military rocks off by bullying people who, like,
Who can't fight back, who don't have weapons, who aren't trying to kill them on a daily basis. Yeah.
Right.
That's
Miss
my
Good.
point. It's a
Miss
different
Good
world.
was a tree hugging white lady.
Mm-hmm.
She was giving them thumbs up, saying, "What are you guys mad at?" She was all
Right. I ain't mad at you. That's the last thing she said to him. I ain't mad at you.
Yep.
So
You
it's
know,
like the bully, like when we were in school, you had the kid that sometimes the bully was a little bit bigger, right? And then they go and they pick on the little kids. Why? Because they know they can. But then luckily, there's some of us that are in the middle, and we say, you need to leave that little kid alone, or we're going to fuck
Right.
you up.
Yeah.
You ain't walking away from this one. Not with me standing
No,
here.
Yeah.
no, that's happened. That's happened. You will
Yeah, it
cease
makes me
and
mad. And then
desist.
like I've talked to a couple cops about this, and I do not like their response. Right, like the response that I hear from police officers is, "Well, they're just doing their job,"
Yeah, that's
and
what
I'm
I
like,
hear.
"No, fuck that. That's not their
Yeah.
job."
That's
Right,
what I hear.
we don't employ a paramilitary force in this fucking country inside of our own country. That's not what we fucking do. That's not their
Attacking
job.
our own people.
Is it still the
Right.
fourth largest, or is it?
It's probably bigger than fucking Germany, and they have what are they? They have the aircraft carriers. They have aircraft carriers, and we pay ICE more than Germany pays for their military.
And they have U-Hauls. What the fuck?
And they have U-Hauls.
Damn it, man. That's not apples to apples there, man.
Oh God,
That is so
dude, what
wild.
are we doing, man? What are we fucking doing?
Did we lose Joe?
No, I'm still
There he
here.
is.
Still here.
Joe's
Just
internet cut
change
out.
of venue.
Actor pay.
Is that he's on that actor pay? We got to get you some. We got to get you some public access internet, my guy.
Yep.
Yo.
I'm gonna find better one.
Should we wrap this? We can wrap this one up. We've been going for a couple hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
I'm
we can
getting
always
tired.
we can always come back and do this again, man.
Cool. Yeah, we
Anytime.
got to
Yeah.
have Kyle back on. Joe, you're home. So whenever you're ready. So let's
yeah,
go around the horn.
I was gonna say one last thing, man.
Oh, go for it.
If there's anything that Joe knows, if there's anything you guys need, we're here to
Thank
help
you.
out, man.
And when I have a better, because I can hear you guys, but I haven't wanted to respond because of like some of the things I'm seeing on my dash. I would love to kind of weigh in a little more on this because ICE is a big problem for my district, and the police response leaves a lot to be desired. It's really a mess. What's going on? I think it degrades the soldier's oath. I think it degrades the honor of what soldiers train for. I think it degrades what police train for. And I would know because in one form or another, I tried being both. So I know intimately how unprepared ICE is for actual engagement in either side, at least from my civilian capacity. I can tell you right now, I'm more well-trained than half these guys. And that's scary. Not just doing their job. They're doing extrajudicial shit that they're not qualified to do.
Yeah.
And they're not ready, as Kyle was saying about the difference between one world and another, they're not ready to breathe in the dust they're kicking up. And they're not smart enough to realize that the administration's using them as pawns. I can't believe I got all that out without things cutting off again. But I'm going to sign off if that's okay.
Go ahead and let folks know where they can find you online, my guy.
Yes, please. JPC for CTO4 on every social media I'm willing to maintain myself. There's all my links and all of it that'll take you at everything I got, including the pledge sheets, including the donor sheets. I'm here working for you, and I'm happy to talk with you.
Beautiful.
I'm going to go study for an exam I got this week.
There you
It
go.
doesn't
Give
end.
him
Yeah,
that.
Joe.
Give him
From
that
one
sexy
fight to
eyebrow
another.
again. Kyle, go ahead and actually, before I let you do that, I wanted to ask: do you know who Jody is? Military.
Jody. Yeah.
Hey, you remember who Jody is?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Tell me they didn't elect Jody to be the president.
You mean in Trump?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like in basic training, Jody.
Yeah.
Yeah. They put him in office. They put Jody in office.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
don't know, Jody is the guy when you're going through basic training. Jody is the guy who he's at home, his feet are up, he's hitting on your lady. He's the one that's the lazy one. He's the one that's not a soldier. He's the one that, right? So they took Jody and they put orange makeup on his dumbass, and then they put him in office.
Put him in the White House.
I'm following
Ain't
now.
that a
I use
bitch?
the term good idea fairy a lot, but I've never heard of Jody.
Yeah.
So,
Jody is the person.
knows.
Jody is the person the military asks you to focus on when you need to reach a different level of hate.
Yeah, because Jody is the one with his feet kicked up, sitting in the back, fucking your wife.
Yep.
While you're out here playing soldier.
Yep.
That's who Jody is.
We should get a Jody for ice.
Jody is ICE.
No, Jody is
Jody
is
if you
bad.
work for ICE,
We don't
chances
want-
are
I'm saying ICE should have its own Jody that they fear, right?
They
Like
do, it's Donald
psychological
Trump.
warfare.
Ooh. He's the all-seeing Jody.
There you
Yeah.
go.
the Jody Palantir.
Jody. That's
Anyway,
a name.
Kyle, go ahead and hit them up with your where they can find you.
Yeah, so all right, so my name's Kyle Gauck, Gauck. You can Google that. There is no other Kyle Gauck in the entire world.
That's the first time I've ever
valid-
heard your last name too.
Right, and that's the point. I validate that every couple years. So you can Google Kyle Gauck. All of my socials will come up. My website should be the first thing that pops up. But yeah, come check us out. Connecticut 2nd District. We love donations. We love volunteers. And we have a free week newsletter. We love when people follow along. So please follow along. But we're out here fighting the good fight. And we believe that everyone's voice should actually have a choice. And that's what we're pushing for here in Connecticut.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your service again. Thank you
man.
for being an army man, showing up and showing out. Tired of these little weird ass Navy people and the Marines. Oh, don't even get me started on the Marines.
Man,
Jeez.
I don't get it. I don't get how people could be so dumb and so dumb at the same time. Not my constituents, just the Marines.
Oh shit!
Shout out Sergeant Rhodes.
He's about to come for you, Jody. Or I said Jody, Kyle.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm the Jody now. Yo, I seen this guy at my VA. He's an Army vet, and he works at the VA. And at his desk, he's got like a box of Crayola crayons. But I guess Crayola jumped on the bandwagon one day because they made a box that says Marine Snacks on it, and it's just a box of crayons, and it says Marine Snacks on it, like food, you know?
Yeah.
You know, because you
But-
tell them to eat crayons. But Crayola actually did. Isn't that wild?
That's pretty
That's crazy
funny.
to me. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All right, we're going to bring this one in. Thanks again, Kyle. Thank you, C4, for coming on,
100%.
taking time to hang out with these fellas. The Connecticut Connection.
Nice.
It was
And with
good.
that, everybody, we're out.
Peace.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks for coming.